Nick.
The Play-by-Play Student Sports Network. The best students of sports.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Play-by-Play Student Sports Network. Well, tonight, to the students tonight broadcasting, it's going to be the Play-by-Play camp staff. I'm Sam Prince, your host for tonight's pregame show, alongside Nicholas Bear and John Gross. Guys, tonight we're going to be watching the Cowboys versus Lions, two heavyweight playoff teams. We could be seeing a rematch of this game into the playoffs. The red-hot Dan Campbell-led Lions just got into the playoffs, NFC North champs. Dan Campbell said, we're not done. We're looking to get that 2 seed. And then, well, the Cowboys, they're just fighting to win their division, where if they lose tonight, it's out of their hands, and the Eagles will win the division and win the NFC East for the second straight year. They have back-to-back champs in the NFC East for the first time since when the Eagles won it in 2003, 2004, when they went to the Super Bowl with Donovan McNabb and Tia when they eventually would lose to them. But, guys, tonight, it's a little different team for the Cowboys and the Lions. Well, for the Cowboys, it is going to be an emotional night for their fans because finally, after 20-plus years, Jimmy Johnson is going to get inducted to their Ring of Honor. And you know who's doing the game? Troy Aikman, his quarterback. So tonight's going to be a big game for Dallas. Nick, who do you think is going to win this game, and how do you think this game's going to play out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited for this game tonight. This is playoff seating is on the line. New Year's is in a couple of days. So I'm very excited, but I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. They've just been so dominant at home all year. Every team that seems to walk into AT&T Stadium just seems to get absolutely picked apart in every way possible. And while I love what the Lions are doing this year, I just don't know if they have what it takes on defense to stop what is one of the MVP candidates in Dak Prescott this year, and that Dallas offense led by CeeDee Lamb at wide receiver.
Nick, you made a great point. MVP candidate Dak Prescott's got a 20-2 touchdown ratio at home this year. The Cowboys have scored an average of 28.5 points at home, but they are coming off back-to-back losses against the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. 2 games maybe they should have won against AFC East rivals, to say the least, in a Super Bowl rematch when they played the Bills back in the 90s Super Bowl. But, John, tonight, the Lions, they're red hot. Nick thinks they're going to win tonight. What do you think is going to happen? Because the Lions have been a team that can upset parties. Said, no, not today. This is the new age Lions.
Yeah, I think this Lions team is probably the best story in the NFL this season, right? A franchise that for so long has suffered. It's been a miserable franchise, and finally a great season. I don't think they will be picked apart. Like Nick said, teams have come into AT&T Stadium and they've been blown out. They've been defeated handily. I think that Detroit will hang in this game, but I do agree with Nick that the Cowboys will win this game. You mentioned some of the numbers, Sam. Dak at home, 20 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions. You add in the fact that Cam Sutton, the top cornerback for Detroit, he's been battling a toe injury. He was a game-time decision, and it does appear as if he will play. I think you factor all of that together, plus a game wrecker and Micah Parsons on defense. And to me, I have to take Dallas in this one.
So both of us going with Dallas. You think the biggest edge tonight for the Cowboys is going to be Cam Sutton's toe injury, him not playing, being a game time decision? I like to play, but back to you, Nick. Nick, you mentioned the Cowboys at home. We talked about it before we went to John. Can you just tell us what do you think? How with back on the Cam Sutton point, how CeeDee Lamb is gonna appear tonight? I think he's gonna have a big game. If the Cowboys win, they're gonna have to need him to have a big game, and Dak has to put something on his MVP resume.
Yeah, well, Dak's MVP has really taken off because his connection with CeeDee Lamb has gone a whole new level that we haven't seen through the first, I think, 3 years of CeeDee Lamb's career. I think this is year 4 for him, if I'm not mistaken. But Detroit doesn't have that good of a defense. We talk about Detroit, how exciting they are and what Dan Campbell has kind of done over there. But you look at the numbers on their defense, it's not that good. They're one of the bottom teams in points per games allowed. They allow a lot of yards. We've seen several times this year where they've just allowed teams to kind of just run down the field on them. And then they have to keep up in kind of this high scoring game, which for me, against a Dallas defense, is not what you want with Jared Goff at quarterback.
Yeah, but we talked about a lot with the Cowboys D. Now let's switch it over to the Lions rushing game. John, David Montgomery is less than 200 yards away to getting 1,000 yards on the season. Would be a big accomplishment for him and a play-by-play camp former speaker at the Chicago camp. So what do you think? How do you think this Dallas front line can stop him and the Detroit rushing game? Is that's how they've been winning most of these games this season.
Yeah, well, first of all, like you said, David Montgomery, friend of the camp, awesome guy, and we truly appreciate his willingness to speak to so many campers and shed so much insight. But you're right. This is a rushing attack between him and between Jahmyr Gibbs that has been one of the best in the NFL, 4th in the league. So I think what's crucial for Dallas is to win the battle on 1st and 2nd down. Get the Lions into 3rd down and long situations to allow Micah Parsons to go out there and do his thing. If you're allowing Detroit to play ahead of the sticks, to make it 2nd down and 5, 3rd down and a yard or 2, where defensively you don't know what they're going to do on the offensive side of the ball, it could be a long day for this Dallas defense. So I'm with you. I think that is a major focal point for Dallas to shut down this rushing attack, especially on the early downs.
Yeah, I do have to agree. If the Cowboys win the 1st and 2nd downs, they're going to win this game. But Nick, you went with the Cowboys winning this game with your background speaking for itself, AT&T Stadium. John, you also went with the Cowboys. Well, you know what? I'm going to be an outlier here. Tonight, the Detroit Lions will get their 12th win of the season. And this win tonight is going to be the Dan Campbell era type of win where everything seems perfect for the Cowboys. Jimmy Johnson finally gets in the Ring of Honor for the Cowboys. Troy Aikman's doing the game. No. Dan Campbell and the Lions are going to come and crash this party. But before we send it to our broadcasters, Zeke and Justin, we're going to send it down to the field for Aaron McCaffrey report. This has been Sam Prince alongside Nick Bear and John Gross. But don't go anywhere. We'll be here for halftime and postgame.
We definitely have a super exciting game for today. I think it's perfect timing, especially since the playoffs are right around the corner. There's going to be great atmosphere, especially at the game. I'm sure it's going to be such a fun game to watch, and definitely going to be a close game with Dallas having an undefeated record at home and the Lions having an undefeated record on primetime. This game is definitely going to be a showstopper. I think the main difference in this game will definitely be if Detroit runs the game. Dallas is pretty good at stopping runs, but if the Lions offensive line can dominate, I think they definitely have a good chance of clearing the game. And for the Lions being a 11-4 team, if they keep playing the way they do, they'll be on the hunt for either a number 1 or a number 2 seed in the conference. And for sure, this is going to be a problem for the Cowboys, even though they are undefeated 7-0 at home. I think this will definitely be a game not to miss. And I think it'll be such a fun broadcast for all of us to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, with my go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, no, it's thank you, Aaron, for your report. Sorry, I messed up on your last name. That is my bad. But the game will be starting momentarily as we go to the broadcast booth in about 2 minutes, where Zeke and Justin will handle play-by-play and color commentary duties. And Nick, John, tonight's going to be a fun game. We're going to be here watching it. The campers challenge us to do a broadcast, and we said we can do it. And we can do it, and we're going to show everyone we can do it by teaching everyone, and we're doing it now. A little fun, and game will be starting at AT&T Stadium. I'm Sam Prince alongside Nick Bear and John Gross, and we will be back for your halftime show.
Welcome, everybody. I am Zeke Sprague along with Justin. Louder or loader? I always get it wrong. I don't want to get it wrong.
You're right the first time.
All right, then we're going to talk a little louder tonight about the NFL. I am Zeke Sprague live. First down happened already. They went on a run play for the Detroit Lions. Got nowhere. Second down and 10 from the 25s. A pass out to the far side, and it is incomplete. A little early contact by the secondary of the Cowboys, but it was not called. So it'll be 3rd and 10 from the 25. An early possibility for 3 and out for the Cowboys defense.
Yeah, and so far, as Sam and the guys in the booth kind of said it, bottling up the run is going to be key for the Cowboys defense. They did that on first down. They forced an incompletion to Josh Reynolds on second down. And so we're going to see the 3rd and down play right here.
3rd and 10, as we said. Shotgun, 4 wide receivers, 3 to the near side. Goff will drop back, looks to the near side. He delivers his pass. It is complete right up the seam, and it is a first down. The first completion to Khalif Raymond. Not the star wide receiver. You hear him often from the Detroit Lions, but it is a quick first down and a big one on 3rd and 10.
Yeah, we've heard the stories in recent years about Detroit's home and away splits. So the success for the Lions, especially on the road, they're going to have to get these short passes if they're going to have success through the air.
And now it's a fake handoff, play action fake. Goff looking deep over the seam, has his man. It is complete past midfield, close to the 40-yard line, out of bounds, making the catches, of course. The number 1 wide receiver on this team, Amon-Ra St. Brown, fights on for the first down.
Yeah, Amon-Ra is coming off a 12-catch, 106-yard game last week against the Vikings on the road. Another big catch here, especially for the first one. Looking to repeat that performance on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown and CeeDee Lamb, the top 2 receivers in the game as it goes for receptions, are going mano-a-mano today in this matchup. Under center now for Goff on 1st and 10 from the 41-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. Taking his time, giving the signals out. Single setback is a handoff up the middle. It's Montgomery again. Now, good run up the middle for 7-8 yards, setting up a short second down as we are at 12:55 here in the first quarter.
Yeah, David Montgomery, in the last 7 games that they've played, he's only averaged under 4.7 yards 2 times. Rattling off 3.2 last week, but 5 the game before, 6.6 the week before. Jahmyr Gibbs hasn't ever averaged under 5 yards, especially recently. So this running attack is going to be key.
Under center again with motion to the right-hand side. That's the direction the Lions go, but this time the Cowboys offense or defensive line is there to stop it. So we'll stay right where we were for 3rd and 3 for the Lions offense.
We're going to be calling Micah Parsons' name all night. He lined up right over the right-hand side of that offensive line and really looked like he was kind of double teamed there, and it didn't even matter. Broke through the line and tackled for no gain. So it's going to put the Lions in a pretty pivotal 3rd down here. They are kind of in the field goal range here, outer ranges of it, looks like.
Yeah, right on the outside of the field goal range of the 33-yard line. Timeout called. Dallas calls a timeout, so I guess they didn't like their lineup there. So it'll be 3rd and 3 when we come back from the timeout. And, of course, my television is deciding to freeze, which that's a fantastic thing. There we go. All right, yeah, so it'll be 3rd and 3 for Dallas, 11:53 remaining here in the first quarter. On the first drive of the game, Detroit has moved the ball. So we'll see if they can punch it in.
Yeah, it's a really good start for Detroit. I mean, we talked about last week. It wasn't too bad. They did get the win by 6. The last road game before that, they lost to the Bears by 15. So, they're wanting to keep this success because it's going to be pretty key moving forward if they want to win this game.
3rd and 3 will be a shotgun for Jared Goff with a running back to his left, 3 wide receivers. Now he's got a man in motion into the slot. It's going to be a handoff up the middle, and my TV froze again. But it's got a first down and more. Sorry about that. All the way to the 21-yard line. David Montgomery has found the right holes in the offensive line so far to run through and keeps moving this defense, or this Detroit offense.
Yeah, the Penei Sewell, shout out to Oregon. He came over and pulled from right to left and got a key block on the edge defensive lineman there to break that run and continue this drive.
On first down, it was out to Jahmyr Gibbs and incomplete, I believe. Sets up 2nd and 10 from the 21-yard line.
Yeah,
Lions are a big, heavy pass on when it's Jahmyr Gibbs on the field.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I'm not really sure how much he would have gained on that. There was pretty good pursuit there by the defense. Not sure he would have gained anything anyway, but came on for one play. Now he's back on the sideline. David Montgomery is out there. And why not with the success he's having?
Well, it's a shotgun passing play. Batted down at the line of scrimmage. That one knocked down by Jaron Curse of the Cowboys defense. And it'll set up another 3rd and 10, the second of the drive for the Detroit Lions. They got the first. We'll see if they can get another one here.
Yeah, they got they got it to Khalif Raymond. Probably look for Amon-Ra down here. I mean, how would you not look for Amon-Ra every play? Let's be honest. But they're Jared Goff. There's kind of 2 sides to Jared Goff. He's either really good or seems like he struggles. And so, 3rd and 10 is going to be kind of a big on the road first drive. Man, they would love to punch it in for a touchdown here.
And he drops back out of the shotgun to the near side. There is a flag down on the field. It was complete, but only a yard gain. That one caught again by Jahmyr Gibbs. We'll see where the flag is on and see if the Cowboys have stopped the Lions and forced a field goal, or if the Lions have more life. It is on the Lions, so this will just push them back. It'll probably be declined, I would assume, and a field goal to come for the Lions to try to at least take a 3-point early lead. Yep, illegal contact on the offense. The penalty is declined. As I said, it was probably going to happen. It was actually on Penei Sewell. Put hands up in the face, I guess, and it will be a 4th and 9 field goal to come. But heck, a lead is a lead against Dallas, who is so good at home. We talked how good Detroit's been at home. Dallas obviously has been the best team at home all year long, have struggled on the road. A great tackle there, but it wouldn't have mattered as the knee went down, and it'll force a field goal.
Well, and Dallas is probably really happy to be back at home because, I mean, you go back-to-back road losses. You lose to Bills 2 weeks ago by 21, then you lose at Miami by 2. They're glad to see AT&T Stadium tonight.
Most definitely. This field goal kick is up and right through the middle of the uprights. 3-0 with 10:46 remaining in the first quarter. The Detroit Lions have taken the early lead here against the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, as an Eagles fan, I was happy to see those back-to-back losses on the road to Buffalo and Miami. But Dak Prescott is happy to be with home cooking, and we'll see what they can do. Let's throw it back real quick to Sam Prince, John Gross. Oh, John Gross is there, but let's throw it back to Sam Prince and John Gross is there. Let's throw it back to Sam Prince, John Gross, and Nicholas Baer for the commercial.
So, guys, what are your thoughts so far of this first drive? It looks like the Cowboys, they're out to win this game, and they are going to, for their sake, cut their 2-game back-to-back losing streak.
Yeah, honestly, when it comes to the opening drive or even opening drive or 2 of games, I don't put too much stock into it just because so many of these drives are scripted throughout the week. I think we'll learn a lot about this game as this quarter progresses. But yeah, I think for both of these teams, obviously it's always important to start off strong. So we'll see what happens the rest of this first quarter.
Even though the Lions are leading 3-0, I still think the Cowboys are the better team of that first drive because they had some excellent defensive stops. We talked about in the pregame, Nick, about how they're going to stop the run. And that's what they did tonight. They stopped the run. They made the Lions pass.
For sure. I mean, actually, John, I know you mentioned earlier that the key for the Lions was to not get in 3rd and long. But they got in 3rd and long right away, and they actually converted on that first 3rd and long. But Dallas was able to stop them in the red zone. Of course, there was the flag that pushed them back a little bit to kick the field goal. But I actually thought Detroit got down the field a little easier than I thought they would on the first drive. I didn't think they'd get a field goal out of that one.
Yeah, no, 3-0. We're going to send it back to the booth in a minute. But guys, let's see how this red hot Dak Prescott MVP candidate Cowboys offense will lead as we send it back to Zeke and Justin in the booth.
All right. Thank you very much, Nicholas. Get out of here. Sam, get out of here. John, get out of here. There's Justin. All right. Yeah, unfortunately, my TV is permanently froze, so I might have to do play-by-play off my cell phone. We'll see if I can find a way to get it back on the television in a second. But as long as I have the stream, I guess that's all that matters. So, yep, we saw 3-0. It is 3-0. The Detroit Lions are over top of the Dallas Cowboys. We head back to AT&T Stadium. I don't know how far I am behind your stream now, Justin. Hopefully not too far behind.
It just showed the stadium on.
All right, good. Then we're right on it. Then we're good to go. Let me try to bring it back to my television. We'll see if this actually works or not. If not, yep, I don't know. We'll see if this works. Gotta love technology when it works and hate it when it doesn't, I guess, is the moral of the story.
Well, and I'll touch on before the kick here. I'll touch on something the guys just talked about. You know, the start for Dallas is going to be key. Not only is Dak here on prime time for his MVP candidacy, but Dallas has scored a total of 10 points in the first half combined the last 2 games. So if they want to keep up with the Lions, and that's only 3 points, obviously, but if they want to keep up with the Lions, they're going to have to find offensive success just like the Lions did.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go, I think, off of my phone. So we'll see how this goes. Or if you can keep us what's going on the game right now, Justin, that'd be greatly appreciated because, unfortunately, I'm having some technical difficulties here.
No problem.
I'm going to stop casting and try to use the app instead. So go ahead. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, Prescott, so we play action faked to Pollard. Short pass over the left side, complete to Jake Ferguson. Gain of about 8 yards on the play. Get 2nd and short. Again, the Cowboys looking like they, again, kind of want to run the ball. We'll see Tony Pollard run the ball. I'm sure we'll see it here soon. Run pass heavy here, but they got 2 tight ends that are good. And, of course, CeeDee Lamb, you mentioned, Pollard's actually going to get it. And that defensive line for the Lions just forced a loss of 2. That was the big guy, Aiden Hutchinson.
All right, I have my stream back, but I think it's going to be a couple seconds behind your stream because it's now through the ESPN app on my TV as opposed to through my cable through my phone. So, like you said, we have a 3rd and 4 for the Cowboys. Obviously, want to get started here on the 31-yard line. Dak is in the shotgun. Wearing blue at home, the Cowboys, which they usually don't. Usually it's a white jersey at home. Motion toward the slot. Now Dak drops back, looks to the near side. It is complete. It is his main man, CeeDee Lamb, who has a first down and more. Past midfield. Makes a few Lions miss all the way past the 40 to the 38-yard line. CeeDee Lamb showing why he's one of the top receivers in the NFL.
Yeah, he, again, just like Amon-Ra, he's coming off a 100-yard game last week. And, I mean, looking at some of these numbers he's put up, you know, starting in November, 191, 151, 3 weeks later, 116, last week, 118. Get the ball in his hands. He's the playmaker.
Out of the shotgun, Dak rolls the left-hand side, is under pressure, but delivers the pass. It is complete, and that's an 8-yard gain for the Cowboys. Reception made by number 86, Luke Schoonmaker. That's going to be a last name I have to deal with all night, but usually not because he's actually the backup tight end for the Cowboys.
Yeah, they kind of oddly enough, they have 3 tight ends. They have Jake Ferguson, Schoonmaker, and now, of course, I mentioned it. I'm not going to remember the guy's name, so I'm going to have to look that up. But
Peyton Hendershot.
There we go, Peyton Hendershot. Perfect.
And it is a Peyton Hendershot shotgun for Dak Prescott as he drops back with 4 wide receivers. Looks deep toward the end zone, has the throw, but it's well over the top of Brandon Cooks. And it'll be 3rd and 4 for the Cowboys.
Shout out to another Oregon guy, Oregon State, though, in Brandon Cooks. Yeah, I thought, Brandon Cooks, I kind of had a little bit higher hopes, just as kind of an Oregonian. I mean, he was wide open. Dak just sailed it a little bit over the top. He had him.
Just overthrown. Yeah, I drafted Brandon Cooks in plenty of my fantasy leagues this year, thinking he'd be huge, and he's only had a few huge games, so I dropped him before those happened. But CeeDee Lamb, along with Amon-Ra St. Brown, lead the NFL in third down receptions. We'll see if he gets one here. He's in the slot as Dak drops back out of the shotgun on 3rd and 4. Looks for a man, cannot get it. Now he's scrambling to the right-hand side. Will throw it, and it's intercepted. It is an interception for the Detroit Lions as they come back the other direction. The interception made, heading back by number 6, who is not on my depth chart that was on the Lions. Oh, there it is. Oh, my Lord. Ifatu Melifonwu with the interception. I did not get that name right at all because I have pronunciation of the Cowboys, but he makes an incredible catch right in front of CeeDee Lamb. The Detroit Lions strike first on the turnover with 7:59 left in the first quarter. How about that Detroit defense coming up huge there, Justin? Sorry, I butchered that name.
No, that Schoonmaker doesn't seem too hard now.
No, not at all.
No, that's kind of what I talked about. I mean, there's pressure on Dak tonight. I mean, if he, Brock Purdy, I think kind of was the unanimous, MVP, or at least most of the talking heads kind of thought Brock Purdy was going to win it. And then he came out and had a 4-interception game and pretty much took himself out. You have Lamar Jackson, but Dak's right there. And they're going to have to win out to win MVP for him at least. And I know, he'll probably the first one to say it's not about individual awards, but, they had some success just like Detroit did. But, those mistakes, those are not going to obviously aid in any way here. And Detroit, with how their offense went down, their defense can't step up. This could be a long game for the Cowboys.
Yep. So Lamar Jackson is obviously the leader in the clubhouse for MVP, but Dak with a good stellar showing the last 2 weeks might have a chance. But right now it's Lamar Jackson. Real quick, we're just going to go a quick commercial for the play-by-play sports broadcasting camps. Kind of the reason we're all here together.
Breaking news: the 2024 Sports Broadcasting Camp schedule has arrived. Jeremy, you want to break it down for us?
I would be very happy to, Steve. June 3 to 7, we're going to be in Dallas. The 10th to the 14th, we're in Boca. 17th to the 21st, it's Villanova time. Did you miss Charles Barkley last year? We didn't. He was awesome. 24th to the 28th is Baltimore and Denver. Seek tickets to July.
July 1st through 5th, we start off virtually, as well as our 3-day workshop we're super excited for. The 8th through the 12th, New Jersey and Chicago are coming your way. 15th through the 19th, Atlanta and Neil Hartman in D.C., and the 22nd to 26th. I'm excited to head back to Boston.
How about Rugburn Ball in Boston and Zeke?
Rugburn Ball. Say it again, Jeremy.
Rugburn Ball. Steve, what's going on in August?
All right, the end of July into August, we have Seattle, again with Neil Hartman. August 5th to the 9th, we are at UCLA in lovely Los Angeles. Then we close the show August 11th to 16th at one of my favorites, Camp Green Lane. So, guys, does anything stick out to you in the schedule?
Well, Steve, first of all, I want to say I can't wait to play Gaga with you guys again at Green Lane. But FAU, we're going overnight this year for the first time in years, which is going to be really exciting. So we want you guys to sign up, check out the website, check out the schedule. We're going to see you this summer.
All right, so that was the commercial for the broadcasting camp. Real quick, we're back to action on 1st and 10 for the Detroit Lions from the 43. It's a handoff to Jahmyr Gibbs, who might have got one over the right-hand side.
Yeah, my stream is behind yours, so I haven't even seen the play yet.
All right, well, that's what just happened. It's a 1-yard run. Now they're just showing the replay of the interception. That guy's last name, who I cannot pronounce, number 6 for the Detroit Lions, did an amazing job. The safety coming up on the scramble drill and got in front of CeeDee Lamb, and it gave the Detroit Lions their second drive of the game, and they did give a 2-yard gain on that run to start the drive for the Lions. They're in shotgun again right at the 45-yard line. 3 wide receivers. This is a screen pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who has a first down into Cowboy territory down to the 42-yard line, and the Detroit Lions looking to increase their lead, already up 3-0 with 7:06 remaining in the first quarter.
The Detroit offensive line is just impressive. I mean, if you watch I don't know if they'll show the replay here, but I don't know if that was Penei Sewell. I don't know if it's 58 or 68. It was kind of blurry, but came all the way out and again got a block on the second level to spring Amon-Ra St. Brown for a big gain. And again, like you said, into Cowboy territory for the second drive in a row.
This one's a fake handoff to Gibbs, and it's an end around. And it's a first down saving tackle made in the secondary. It was going to be a big game, but Jordan Lewis stepped up and brought down the tackle, but it would still be a 5-yard game for the Detroit Lions and Jameson Williams on the end around.
I feel like I've been seeing more of these kind of end around and these sweeps in the NFL, and I feel like a lot of them don't work. And that one actually was almost blown up in the backfield. That was number 54, Sam Williams, that had a shot to get him, just lost his balance a little bit at the line. Don't know if he fell over a lineman or not, but had a chance to stop him for a pretty big loss.
This is a handoff immediately met by who else? Micah Parsons. When I say immediately, that's a 4 or 5 yard loss. Was a 2nd and 3 is now a 3rd and 8 for the Detroit Lions. Jahmyr Gibbs grabbed the ball, and then Micah Parsons grabbed him.
Yeah, I'm not going to get out of the grasp of Parsons there. We're going to watch it again from his linebacker spot. And he basically just jukes his way through the line. That was walked right past Jonah Jackson, number 73, and very little doubt once Parsons gets his big mitts on him.
3rd down shotgun. Goff drops back. Now under a little pressure is met by 2 Cowboys in the backfield, and, well, guess who one of them was? Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons combines with a sack, a 7-8 yard loss will force a punt. When the Detroit Lions had a chance after a big turnover, the defense for the Cowboys steps up big.
Yeah, that was huge. I think Durant, Armstrong, number 92, is also in on that. And that's going to be the key. You know, we've seen some chunk yardage from Detroit, but if Goff doesn't have time to set his feet, that's going to give the Cowboys a huge advantage to keep this offense in check.
So the punt is away. It'll land inside the 10-yard. Oh, fair caught right at the 10-yard line. It looked like he was about to let it go. I didn't see the fair catch symbol. But that's where Dak Prescott will get a second chance. He had an interception on his first drive, and it'll be 1st and 10 from the 10 for the Cowboys on their second opportunity on offense. Micah Parsons, we can agree on some things as being Philadelphia fans for sports. And that's about all we can agree on since I'm a Philadelphia fan of the Eagles as well. And he's obviously a Cowboy stalwart and probably going to be a Cowboy for the rest of his life, you think. But real quick, I want to have some breaking news that'll make some Detroit fans happy. The Detroit Pistons have won a basketball game. How can that be? They finally end their 28-yard game skid against the Raptors tonight. So the Detroit Lions are obviously looking for a big win. The Detroit Pistons might have got an even bigger one tonight.
I'm not. So the Raptors traded OG Anunoby earlier today. I screenshot it and I sent it to one of my coworkers and I said, I guarantee you the Pistons win tonight. I have the receipts. I'll screenshot it. And
is sports betting legal in Oregon yet?
Yes, only on DraftKings.
Did you put the bet in? That's the important part.
Yeah, see, I deleted the app. I just
I delete all the betting apps after I get rid of all my free bets. So I understand. I'm right there with you.
Yep. But I wrote him. I said, if they're going to win a game, it's going to be and then there was another report that, they're trying to trade Pascal Siakam too. And it's a lot of noise. It's a lot of noise. Plus you don't want to be that team that loses to the Pistons. And
well, now they are.
Canada. Drake is somewhere
crying.
Exactly.
So understand. Sounds good. Well, we are going to go back to action shortly, and then our next commercial break, we'll go back to our studio crew if they're available. But yeah, that's actually, I was very impressed by that trade for OJ Anunoby, that the Knicks made. I think it's going to make them a formidable 4 or 5 seed. But again, I think the 3 teams in the East, real quick basketball talk, are still the best 3 teams in the East.
Yeah. And that's a huge move to, kind of have those big threes that we like talking about with Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson. And Jalen Brunson's been balling. He's
the Villanova Knicks, as I like to call them. 4 former
Yeah.
Wildcats, 4 former
that's
national
awesome.
champions, all on one team. That's fantastic. All great guys that we've had at camp. So as our pregame team said, halftime of the real game in the real broadcast, Jimmy Johnson will be inducted into the Ring of Honor, which is kind of good for the Cowboys after all that issues they had with him. It's the first down for the Cowboys is met in the backfield. Tackle made. Tony Pollard's going to lose 4 yards, and the Detroit Lions coming out roaring on defense.
Yeah, speaking of, I mean, Pollard's had a couple pretty decent games, but, you know, with the departure of Kellen Moore in the offseason to the Chargers, the idea was that it was good. The team was going to be pretty run heavy, and they do look for the run, but I think people were kind of expecting a lot more from Pollard this season. And, you know, that run right there kind of, he just hasn't been that effective.
Hello, Harris. How are you? All right, just saying hi to you with a little shout. If you guys have any comments, we might pin them, so feel free to comment. At 2nd and 13, shotgun over the middle is in and out of the hands. That's Ferguson, the number 1 tight end. Had a seam route. He was well covered, but it did hit his hands.
Michigan's hoping that that doesn't happen in their game against Alabama coming up. But, yeah, that was, I mean, pretty similar route to the Brandon Cooks one from the previous drive. Little tighter coverage there, but, you know, 3rd and 13 back against the zone end zone here is you got to imagine this is probably going to go into the air here.
Yeah, that was a great play on that by Kirby Joseph, number 31, the starting safety. And it's going to be shotgun again for Dak, dropping back in his own end zone. It's under pressure. He does get out of his own end zone, so it won't be a safety. Now he throws it up over the top, and CeeDee Lamb is going to go all the way. He's uncovered. His defenseman fell down on the scramble drill. It is going to be a 90-plus yard reception for CeeDee Lamb, and anybody that has him in their fantasy final this week is going to be happy right about now.
A championship week for fantasy teams. I mean, maybe we'll see an Amari Cooper-esque performance this week since Amari Cooper owners didn't get to play him on Thursday night. But, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. Detroit's defense did exactly what they needed to do. The defensive line just could not get to Prescott and wrap him up. And then not only did CeeDee Lamb have his defender beat, but then the defender fell. And that was actually that reception there, if you watch it on TV, actually tied Michael Irvin, the franchise single-season record for receptions.
Yep, I was going to say, and he also is going to pass Michael Irvin in yards in a single season as well today. I think he probably did that on that reception as well. Detroit had pressure on Dak Prescott, let him get away for a second, and then CeeDee Lamb did the rest. So let's head over to John, Sam, and Nicholas to give us an update on how they're feeling about this game.
Well, guys, so far it's been all Cowboys as Dak Prescott just has passes for a 92-yard touchdown drive to who else? CeeDee Lamb. And tonight, CeeDee Lamb has just tied Michael Irvin with 111 receptions in a single season Cowboy record. And tonight, well, if you got CeeDee Lamb in your fantasy league, you're in a championship. Unfortunately for me, I'm not in the championship. I got eliminated last week. He's got 2 receptions for 123 yards and a touchdown. And the first quarter isn't even over yet. Nick, what are your thoughts so far? You and John both thought the Cowboys were going to outright win this game.
Yeah, as I said before the game, Dak's MVP candidacy really took off once his connection with CeeDee Lamb kind of took off in a direction that I don't think anyone has seen it to this point in the first 3 years with CeeDee Lamb. And there's that Detroit defense I mentioned earlier. I mean, despite what Dan Campbell has built there, the defense just isn't that good. I saw a few weeks ago, I watched the Chargers at the time go up and down the field against this Detroit defense and make it a game when it probably should have never been a game because they were down by double digits. So that's what you're going to get with Detroit. You're going to get them running the ball. They're good in passing game, but they're not good at defense at all. At all.
Don, you mentioned Cam Little, quarterback from the line, being game time decision. Him being declared out for this game is going to be a big factor for CeeDee Lamb. Well, it's been a big factor for him for 2 receptions, 123 yards, and a touchdown so far in this first quarter. But we talk about the offense, the Cowboys. What have you seen from his defense? Because so far tonight, it's been all Micah Parsons.
Well, that's what happens when you get a team into some obvious passing situations. It allows him to just cut loose, and there's one thing on his mind. I'm getting to the quarterback. That's what we've seen from Micah Parsons all season. We've seen that from him early on. And just to follow up on that quickly about the Lions defense, I thought prior to that last play, which was it was a broken play, bit of a fluke, they had been playing really well defensively. A couple of tackles for loss, of course, the interception as well. That being said, I don't think that there are many quarterbacks in the NFL who could have done what Dak Prescott just did, the ability to scramble, avoid pressure, and then deliver that ball on a dime to CeeDee Lamb.
John, that's a great point there. And that could have been the play of the year for Dak, even though it's not a game-winning play. But you don't really see him scramble out of the pocket too soon. And create a play like that, you maybe see her for a couple yards to get positive yardage and avoid negative yards or a sack. But let's see for 92 yards. And for, Nick, you talked about a lot for Dak being the clear-cut MVP for tonight and CeeDee Lamb helping it. He's got 123 yards in the first quarter. What are your predictions for tonight for CeeDee Lamb? Does he get over 200 yards? And the same question for you, John.
I mean, he's at 123 right now, you said. Against this Detroit defense, he has to get 200. Why not? It's prime time. Two really good teams. Let's see a 200-yard game. Let's see someone do what Amari Cooper did a few weeks ago.
And John, do you agree?
I do agree. I think that he'll eclipse the 200-yard mark. The only question is, will he do it in the first half?
And that is a good question. Will he do the first half? But we're going to send it right back to the booth for Zeke and Justin's coverage.
All right, so we are back. The kickoff occurred, and there's a Lion down on the field, Tracy Walker, but he looks to be getting up, so we will have the second chance for the Lions, or third chance for the Lions offense coming up. Yeah, Justin, that last play to CeeDee Lamb was kind of a broken play. The Lions have been playing, as John said, such good defense, had pressure on Dak on that play, and that was not designed at all. You saw on the replay that he pointed to tell CeeDee where to go, and it worked out really well for him.
Well, I'm kind of wondering how Derek Barnes didn't tackle him. I mean, looking at the replay, they had a great camera angle from behind the offense, and it looked like he was squared up with Dak Prescott there, and somehow he escaped it. And there you can see Dan Campbell talking to Barnes because that and Campbell's a defense guy, so they're going to look at that, I'm sure, on film and figure out what exactly happened there, because that probably should have been a safety. That was a 9-point swing there in favor of the Cowboys.
Well, on first down, it's an under center handoff to David Montgomery. Goes for 6 yards up the middle. Every single time he's touched the ball today, it seems like it's 5, 6, 7, 8 yards. So we'll see if they lean on the run a little more here on this drive for the Lions to set up 2nd and 5. 3 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. 7-3 Cowboys after a CeeDee Lamb explosion play. And Montgomery will stay in the game. And under center goes Goff again. He does have 3 wide receivers in, and it's a movement on the line. Flags will be thrown. We wait to see which side it goes against. The Lions are putting their heads down a little bit, so it looks like it's going to be a false start on the offense. So to move him back 5 yards. And what was a 2nd and 5 will move back to 2nd and 10. Graham Glasgow, the right guard, with the false start.
Yeah, and again, you really don't, especially at home, or sorry, on the road at Dallas, you don't want to start shooting yourselves in the foot. For great yardage gain there by Montgomery on first down, and you just give it back there with that pre-snap penalty.
Shotgun over the middle to the youngster and the all-star tight end Sam Laporta. That one's 7 yards, so they pick up the yardage again, plus a couple. It'll be 3rd and 3. So a big third down here. Obviously, you kind of had the momentum, and then CeeDee Lamb kind of took it away from you. 2:19 left in the first. Laporta has been unbelievable as a rookie tight end this year. He is already 2nd most tight end receptions by a rookie ever, and only 6 away from breaking that record with a game and a half to go. Shotgun. Handoff up the middle is met in the backfield and nowhere to go. I said every time Montgomery touched the ball, he'd been going forward. Not that time. The tackle made by number 56, Dante Fowler of the Cowboys, will force a punt, and Dak Prescott and the offense to come back on the field.
Yep, and that's, again, can't really extrapolate it, but the 5-yard penalty proves to be pretty costly. And Laporta looked like he tripped over an offensive lineman there, and that was the reason why Fowler came through pretty much unblocked or lost his balance or something. But that was just a bad play all the way around for the Lions offense.
Yeah, Laporta with a pull block that did not have the execution it needed to, and the punt will be away. Back to receive it all the way. What a booming punt all the way into the end zone. I don't think that was the plan. I think he was just trying to kick as hard as he could. And it'll be a touchback, and the 25-yard line will be where we start. We're going to throw it down to our field reporter, Aaron McAnany. Did I say it right, Aaron? All right, Aaron. What do you got for us, Aaron?
So we saw that Tracy Walker, after that kick return, did get injured. There hasn't been anything yet, obviously, just happened. So I don't know about that. But from what we saw in that first half of this game, definitely Cowboys are right on top, but I feel it is still real early in the game, and I think the Lions will definitely come back. As you guys were mentioning before, Sam Laporta, I had in my notes earlier that he's definitely going to make some kind of impact on the game, as he is one of the best rookies, tight ends that we've seen this season. So definitely think this is still going to be a great game, and excited to see the rest.
All right. Thank you very much, Aaron. We appreciate it. And we'll obviously get people injury updates as they come along to us. That's right. I wanted to change the background here for a second so we can put the score out. There we go. 7-3 Dallas with just over a minute remaining in the first quarter. CeeDee Lamb with the game-breaking play so far. But the Detroit defense thought they had the game-breaking play, a drive earlier when they got the interception, and have looked overall pretty good, except for literally one play, and that was the 92-yard reception by CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, and you mix that miscue in the backfield with the fact that the Lions offense has looked drastically different the last two drives than they did on the first drive. Again, the defense, other than the one play for Detroit, has looked pretty good. But we'll see what Dallas does here. But that punt was booming.
Yeah, that was like that it went 80-yard punt plus.
I was going to say, even with the touchback yardage, I think that net is still probably 55 yards. That's impressive.
Usually from there, you're not worrying about pinning the other team in the 20. And he did that. He could have done that easily. It landed 4 yards deep into the end zone. One heck of a punt by Jack Fox of the Detroit Lions. The kick return, I was anticipating saying Kevontae Turpin's name, and well, I didn't need to say it at all because it flew well over his head.
Yeah, no one usually coffin corners from the other red zone on the other side. So
Terry Bradshaw and the whole Fox team in attendance for Jimmy Johnson's Ring of Honor ceremony today. False start on the offense, this time on the Dallas Cowboys on their first play. So that'll move them back to the 20-yard line and make it 1st and 15 with a minute 07. They just adjusted the clock. Jake Ferguson, the tight end, with the false start. Will make Dak have to move the ball 5 more yards. But heck, they had 3rd and 13 on their last play, and that's what led to the 92-yard touchdown. So maybe they're just like, all right, we're not good on the 10s and under. We need to go even further back.
Well,
so here you got a play going here.
Yep.
Justin got shotgun, Cooks in motion from left to right, but looking in the flat out for the running back, and nothing there whatsoever. As number 34 for the Lions, linebacker Alex Anzalone comes up and makes the tackle to make it 2nd and 14.
Yeah, and again, just no production there from Pollard. Just really good pursuit there by Anzalone, as you mentioned. And again, the Lions defense stepping up.
Shotgun fakes the handoff over the seam area, looking for Ferguson again. Very good coverage that time in the secondary by Brian Branch. The nickel corner has had coverage on Ferguson a couple times now, and both times has had tight windows for Dak to fit a ball in that was not there.
Yep. And again, we talked about both sides, both offenses. Obviously no one wants to be in a 3rd and long situation, especially if you're behind the sticks. But 3rd and 14, we know the magic that happened on the last drive on a 3rd and behind the sticks. And so we'll see if Cowboys can get a first down or even more.
This time an odd call, a pitch to the outside to Pollard, and there was 4 white shirts there. I don't know about the offensive call by the Cowboys on that one, but Kaminsky comes up and makes the tackle, and it'll be a punt away after the first quarter comes to an end. It is 7-3 Cowboys, but they are as the second quarter starts, they'll punt the ball in the opposite direction. How about that call, Justin? It's 3rd and 15, and you pitch it out when you have an explosive athlete like CeeDee Lamb you can at least look to?
Well, especially after how the last drive ended. I mean, we talk about you have an MVP candidate under center. Again, end of the first quarter. It's not really crunch time. But when you need a first down, I would think you'd want to put it in the hands of your MVP candidate, Dak Prescott. And again, Pollard just has nothing. I mean, it's been pretty.
It's literally been one play. The Cowboys offense so far has been one humongous play. Outside of that, Detroit's defense that Nick Baer says is terrible has looked phenomenal. Unfortunately, one shoestring trip up has led to Nick Baer's Nostradamus moment, and we'll get back to Nick Baer and Sam Prince and John Gross on the next commercial break. But again, we are here, the first ever staff broadcast on the Student Sports Network presented by Play by Play Sports Broadcasting Camps. All of us staff at Sports Broadcasting Camps, myself, full-time employee. If you ever need anybody to come talk to your school, I talked to the Justin School a couple weeks ago about what it's like to be in sports broadcasting. If you have any interest in that, that's part of my job, coming and talking to schools and doing it virtually as well, because obviously I did not fly to Oregon as much as I like Justin. I did not fly all the way to Oregon for that. Justin helps us run our Oregon camp. He is one of the co-directors of that, along with Mr. Neil Hartman, who is a director of Sam Prince at Rowan University and their communication department. And then Sam Prince was a former camper and then a counselor at a Green Lane camp. Nicholas Baer, former camper in LA, helped us out as a camp counselor in training this year in Los Angeles. And I must say he actually did pass with flying colors. I had some doubts about Nicholas being a counselor, but he did a fantastic job this year in LA. People that know me know I'm a little sarcastic and like to pick on the people that I enjoy picking on. And Nicholas did a great job out there this year. John Gross has been with us a few years down in Florida, has done a phenomenal job in the South Florida camps, being a counselor. And then Aaron McEnany did a phenomenal job at 4 or 5 of our camps this year. I don't know how much I feel like every other week I turned around, she was there. So I know she did at least 4 camps with us this summer, and she did a phenomenal job for her first year there as well. So if you have any questions about play-by-play camps, obviously follow us on all the socials at play-by-play camps or playbyplaycamps.com. We have some awesome events coming up, some virtual activities that we do throughout the year. Check out that. We have updating price of that for the half-year plan because we had them all in the fall, and we'll have them again in the spring. The punt is here for the Cowboys. I don't think it's going to be as booming as the one the Detroit Lions had. In fact, it's going to be fielded at the 35-yard line. A little running room up the middle is brought down. Williams after only a 2 or 3 yard gain, so nothing fantastic. But it will give pretty good field position for this Detroit Lions offense that's looking to bounce back after scoring on the first drive, but finding nothing on their last 2.
Hey, Zeke, you want to take a guess at who has more rushing yards, you and I or Tony Pollard?
Well, I don't know about if 0 is technically more, but I guess it is, because I guess that goes into that question of negative versus 0. Is there actually something that's more, or is it just that's negative is less? But we definitely don't have as few as Tony Pollard. The Detroit Lions defense, like we said outside that one play, have done phenomenal. And talking about rushing, it is a play action fake. Jared Goff to the far side has a man wide open. Who else? Amon-Ra St. Brown, first down plus some. Into Dallas territory already, goes Detroit.
Yeah, and Deron Bland was in coverage. I think Deron Bland has been, I don't know if household name is an accurate phrase, but, had so many, I think he broke the record for most pick sixes or tied it. I think he broke it actually on Thanksgiving.
He's been a big play cornerback, but Monroe St. Brown has made every single corner look stupid this year, and they are on the 45-yard line of the Cowboys, or actually the 37-yard line of the Cowboys, sorry, as Jared Goff is under center, sets a wide receiver in motion, hands it off. Nope, it's a fake. Now it's a wide receiver screen that is intercepted, read perfectly by the cornerback of the Dallas Cowboys. Talk about interceptions, and it happens right away. Number 2, who is not on their depth chart, so I can't. Oh, there it is, Jordan Lewis. Never mind. He's a nickel cornerback. Jumps out right in front of that screen. Read it perfectly, Justin.
Well, and even watching the play, it didn't even look like he was in position to make that play. He just kind of came out of nowhere and almost stole that away. As I'm now viewing the replay, and he really was out of nowhere. I don't know how you anticipate that, but that was an excellent play by the Dallas defense. Both defenses forcing interception of these quarterbacks, and again, after kind of a questionable call and not very efficient offense, Dallas is going to get another chance after the commercial break here.
So let's go to the commercial break. Let's go back to Sam.
We're going.
And John.
Well, guys, Jordan Lewis reads Jared Goff's pass perfectly as his Goff's 11th pick of the year, and it's Jordan Lewis, first of the year, the Michigan product for the Dallas Cowboys, and the Cowboys are still ahead by 4, leading 7-3. And you guys both thought it was going to be all Cowboys ball tonight. Well, I thought the Detroit Lions were going to pull off an upset, but you guys are leaning towards you're going to prove me wrong, where I would like to see the Lions win. I think they're going to win this game ultimately. And John, so far throughout this first quarter and a little bit into the second quarter, what have you seen so far from both these teams?
Well, I think we spoke so much about both offenses earlier, and we did not talk enough about the defenses. So let's talk defense, because that has been the storyline of this game so far for both teams. Both teams getting solid pressure on the quarterback. Both teams doing a good job limiting the opponent's rushing attack, and both teams have had an interception. And how about that pick by Jordan Lewis? Sam, you said it. He's a Michigan guy. Must be a little bit uncomfortable right now for those Lions fans up there watching a former Wolverine make a play like that. But the discipline that is required as a cornerback to trust your instincts and not be distracted by what the Lions were trying to do, and just stay disciplined, mark your man, and he read it perfectly. A great play by Jordan Lewis on the interception.
John, a great play by Jordan Lewis. And for all those Michigan fans out there, big game on Monday, Rose Bowl. If they win, they beat Bama. They are in the national championship. For us Michigan fans, we would love to see that. I know, John, you're Penn State guy, so you would not like to see that. And Nick, we talked so much about this high-powered offense from the Dallas Cowboys. Let's give some respect to the defense and the secondary, Micah Parsons and his linebacker. What's something that you want to highlight from this Cowboys defense?
Oh, I love this defense. I mean, Dan Quinn, obviously, had that moment in Atlanta. We'll just put it that way. In the Super Bowl,
28-3.
28-3. But he's done a great job, and honestly, I think he's one of the top head coaching candidates in the league this offseason. If he wants to leave Dallas, that's up to him. Jerry Jones loves him, and he's reportedly getting head coaching money as a DC. So we'll see if he leaves, but he's done a great job with that group.
We shall see if he leaves, and we will tune it back to the booth with Zeke and Justin.
All right, so we missed a play there, but we'll get right back to it. It was Dak Prescott connecting with Brandon Cooks for about 20 yards. And a first down. Dallas moving the deepest they've been into Detroit territory all day so far, because the one score they have, like we said, was 92 yards. So it is 1st and 10 at the 33. Hand off to Pollard up the middle, and a bunch of white shirts, but he pushes his way forward for 4 or 5 yards. Looked like there was nothing there, but a decent game on first down for Tony Pollard.
Yeah, finally a good push by the Cowboys offensive line on the run play there. And again, it didn't look initially like he was going to get anything, but halfway to the first down marker there, hopefully that'll get Pollard going, because again, I think if that's a gain of 5, that puts him back at 0 yards. It's just been a struggle to get anything positive in the running game so far for Dallas.
2nd and 5, shotgun. 3 wide receivers, Cook in motion to the near side. Dropping back on the play action fake is Prescott. Throws to the far side. Has Cooks, who was in motion, and then he gets the first down. The reception made. He was met with one heck of a hit, but it's a first down for the Cowboys.
Yep, and there's the Oregon State product, Brandon Cooks. Really love seeing these Oregon State guys in here. And Cooks, we talked about kind of disappointing on the season, really hasn't been involved consistently throughout, but I think that's already his third catch in this game.
It was a heck of a catch to hold on to it because he got absolutely lit up by Cameron Sutton. Under center, Prescott hands it off. This time it's not Pollard in the backfield. It's a 3-yard gain. I did not see who the player was, but that did not look like it was Rico Dowdle with a 3-yard gain for the Cowboys.
I think that was
that Deuce Vaughn?
I think that was 40. Yeah, I think Rico Dowdle was inactive.
Okay, then they
for
didn't
the game. So
that was Deuce Vaughn who stays in the game to the right side of Prescott. 2nd and 7. Shotgun for Prescott. And we got a offsides. Oh, they didn't throw the penalty flag. Oh, there it is. Offsides, free play for the Cowboys, throwing toward the end zone, incomplete, intended for Brandon Cooks, who tried to get it to the 2-yard line but couldn't make the catch. But it will be a free play and 5 yards on an offsides by the Detroit Lions jumping.
Yeah, I thought for sure there he was offsides. Then, I didn't see the flag there for a while. But Deuce Vaughn, the 5'5" wonder. You don't see too many running backs generally are a little on the shorter end, but not 5'5".
I'm a big fan of Darren Sproles from his days in Philadelphia, obviously. And, when your dad's on the coaching staff, they bring you in the rookie. Isn't that the story of Deuce Vaughn? His dad's on the coaching staff for the Cowboys and got to call his son, tell me he was drafted. Yep. Shotgun this time is handoff to Pollard, who's back in the game, has a first down and more, 5 yards more, in fact, down to the 5-yard line. And the Cowboys are 1st and goal at the 5 with 11:14 remaining in the second quarter, up 7-3. A little scuffle after the play.
Detroit will not win the game if they cannot contain Pollard. And again, they might not even win if they could contain Pollard. But if Dallas is going to pass as successfully as they have so far, and they're going to combine the last 2 or 3 runs here, Detroit's going to dig themselves in a hole they're not going to be able to dig themselves out of.
Well, they'll see a 1st and goal from the 5 here. It's a play action fake to Pollard to CeeDee Lamb. He fumbles the ball out of the end zone if he caught it, and it's going to be a touchback for Detroit if he caught it. The referees are saying he did, and it's a fumble out of the side of the end zone. A huge play for the Detroit defense. CeeDee Lamb has the biggest play on both sides maybe tonight. Biggest play for the Cowboys on the 92-yard touchdown, and the biggest play for the Detroit Lions as he catches the ball, makes the move, but he fumbles it out of the end zone, and Detroit will have the ball at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, that's the last person you would expect to make that mistake in that situation. And it's kind of interesting because there's been talk that they're going to actually look into this rule in the offseason for next year, because it's been, for a few years, it's been a rule that, a lot of people have questioned why that is.
Yeah, I just don't know what the other
rule.
Options are. What other options do you give? I mean, if you have a fumble and it goes into the end zone, you can't give the guy a touchdown. Are you going to just give them ball the 1-yard line and say, here, play again? I really don't know. I'm not sure. The rule doesn't make sense, but then I think of the other options, and I think they don't make sense either. So it's kind of a rock and a hard place situation. We'll see what the NFL decides to do as the Detroit Lions get the ball at the 20-yard line. Under center, Jared Goff with 2 wide receivers. Jahmyr Gibbs is his deep back. He gets the ball over the right-hand side. There's plenty of running room. Great blocking from his offensive line. 9 yards forward to the 29 to set up a 2nd and short.
Well, just on cue, the Cowboys get their running game going. Detroit look like they might try a little hurry up here as they get back to the line pretty quickly.
Yep, 10-20 remaining in the second quarter. 2nd and 2. They only gave him 8 on the run. Shotgun. Dropping back. Goff looking toward the far side. He has time to throw, steps up in the pocket. It is incomplete. The tight end, Laporta, could not hold on to it. The ball was right in his breadbasket. But for some reason, Laporta could not hold on to it, and it'll be 3rd and 2. After that big momentum swing of CeeDee Lamb's fumble, Sam Laporta has to make that catch, and this is a must 3rd and 2 for the Detroit Lions offense.
Yeah, fortunately it's 3rd and 2, so the playbook's pretty wide open there, but you can see the disgust there on Dan Campbell's face that catch wasn't made, because you could not have placed that any more perfectly if you were Jared Goff there.
All right, 3rd and 2. It is a play action fake to Jahmyr Gibbs, and it's thrown over the middle, well low and not even close. So a wide open 3rd and 2, a huge momentum shift is shot in the foot for the Detroit Lions. That was not a good throw, not a good route, and what we thought was a big change of momentum. CeeDee Lamb escapes with only literally no harm done.
No, and we kind of talked about, I thought, we'll see here, they're showing the Amon-Ra route. Oh, they cut it off there. I thought maybe he would have had a step there on the outside if he would have just let it go. But, the first time we called
we got a fake on the punt over the top. It's complete. A fake punt into Dallas territory. Unbelievable play. Sorry, I cut in front of you there, Justin. A play made by the special teams of the Detroit Lions. They went for it. Khalil Dorsey, the cornerback, is in on special teams, goes out for a route. The fullback makes the catch in the backfield, rolls to the right, makes the throw over the top. Khalil Dorsey with an incredible catch. And all of a sudden, there's momentum again going Detroit's way. What a throw by number 42, the backup linebacker, Jalen Reeves-Maybin, over the top, gets the completion, and that's probably the biggest play of his NFL career.
Oddly enough, I was going to say, it looks like these teams are just trying to give the game away to the other team, and they were going on that play.
A quick end around Amon-Ra St. Brown, who goes for 13 yards, almost untouched, forced out of bounds after he moves the chains again. And I keep on saying, look at the momentum that's been in Detroit pretty much except for the interception. It feels like the momentum's always been there for the Detroit Lions tonight. And they kept on shooting themselves in the foot. Maybe this is the time they'll finally move the football.
Yeah, they got to get some points. The kind of the overused cliche, especially in big games with good teams, field goals aren't going to win games. They got to get in the end zone, but ultimately they got to score points.
They're right at the 30-yard line under center. Goff, handoff, this side, near side. Jahmyr Gibbs has a huge run. Does he ever not get a huge run? 12 yards on that one, 11 yards. Moving the chains again inside the red zone. Go the Lions, 1st and 10 at the 19 with 8:20 remaining in the first half.
Yeah, Jaron Curse there finally brought him down, but, this is, especially now that they're in the red zone, this is prime opportunity here. The Lions need to continue to be aggressive, and they need to get it towards the end zone here. Don't settle for 3.
Being aggressive means getting the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs, who goes up the middle again for an even bigger gain. Not a 17-yard gain all the way down to the 1-yard line. They were in shotgun, then Goff went under center, hands it to his rookie running back, who went 17 yards and is down at the 1. So it'll be 1st and goal for the Lions from the 1-yard line. See, as an Eagles fan, I know what play's coming, but any other team, I will see what the Lions decide to call here from the 1.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We talked about DraftKings earlier. Not really sure if the anytime Jared Goff touchdown would
that was
pay
probably
off.
high odds.
Yeah.
So Jared Goff is in the shotgun, so I don't see any tush pushes for him. He's got Jahmyr Gibbs to his right, a bunch to his right as well. Handoff to Jahmyr Gibbs, who's met in the backfield. The offensive line was folded that time by the Cowboys, and they fall back to the 5-yard line. Dexter Lawrence in on the tackle, along with a few other players for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep, and again, for what it's
That's
worth,
like DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yeah, I was going to say for what it's worth right now, this is where, if you're the Cowboys, a field goal is a win. After the fake punt, 2 huge gains after that. Actually, 3 huge gains. 1 Amon-Ra. Go ahead, Zeke.
That's okay. This one is a shotgun thrown to the back of the end zone. There were more blue shirts than white shirts, and it's incomplete through the back of the end zone. 3rd and goal from the 5 now for the Detroit Lions. I'm not going to talk over you. They can't see when the play's happening, Justin. I'll just let you go, and then I'll tell what happened on the play after. You're good.
And I say Sam Laporta, he's about to break the rookie receptions mark. I don't know if he'll do it today, but if he keeps getting hyper targeted as he's been, he'll certainly be close, and he should get it next week.
3rd and goal, shotgun, 3 wide receivers. It's a draw to Jahmyr Gibbs on the left-hand side. Does he have enough room to get in? He does not. He is brought down after only a 1-yard gain, and it'll be 4th and goal from the 4. We'll see if Dan Campbell's going to go crazy again with a call. That time the tackle made by number 6, Donovan Wilson, out of the safety spot. And we'll see what the Lions decide to do on 4th and goal from the 4.
It didn't look like the offense was in any hurry to get off the field. I'm not sure I agree that they should go for it here, even though I just said field goals won't win games.
They are going to go for it, at least. Well, we'll see what happens. We got a timeout on the field. They were lining up under center.
Thought
and
Brad
the referees are talking it over. If there was
This is great. Yeah, it's an official timeout. So this is kind of a free timeout here for Detroit that they don't have to take if they want to figure it out.
I don't think they're going to go back now. 4th and goal from the 4. 6:11 remaining in the first half. Down 4 points. I mean, really, yeah, if you kick a field goal here, you're only down 1. I don't know about this call either, but they risked it huge on earlier in this drive. They feel like they need to come out with something after having the fake punt work so well for them earlier. And but I don't know if you don't get this, the momentum swing back to Dallas is much bigger than a fourth down stop.
Yeah, and the Lions do have a history throughout the season of going for it more than any other team. So the call isn't really shocking.
It'll be
more situational.
Yep, it'll be a shotgun this time for the Lions. They have a few men in motion. Amon-Ra on the slot on the near side. Look for him. They're going to actually look to the left side to Laporta. Under pressure, Goff trying to find his way out. Slings it toward the back of the end zone. It was intended for Laporta, but it's out of the reach. And another momentum shift. Just when I say Lions have the momentum, the Dallas Cowboys have found a way to get it. But I think it's more the Lions taking it away from themselves.
Yeah, again, situational football. The Detroit defense, has been playing pretty well. And maybe that's why they went for it. Their offense, the Dallas offense is going to start inside, their own 5-yard line. So maybe that's the call there. But, to get the game within 1 point and probably have another chance at the ball, I probably would have taken the 3 there.
So just over 5.5 minutes remaining here in the first half of this game. The Detroit Lions are down to the Dallas Cowboys 7-3, even though it seems like they've had the better of this game. But there's been 3 or 4 plays that have shifted the momentum to keep in Dallas's hands. And we'll see if Dallas can have maybe a half-ending drive to take it all the way to the bank if they get the ball at half. So if they can waste as much of this time as possible and put some points on the board, that'll be huge for the Cowboys.
And again, even a field goal would be fine. Again, probably not the goal, but a field goal would be fine. For the Cowboys here, get it to a touchdown going in would be huge for this offense, and especially if they can get the run game going. Pollard had a couple big runs on that last drive. Offensive line looks like they're getting a little bit more push on that Lions defensive line that they didn't get in the first quarter, and that might end up being the difference. For the Cowboys offense is making sure Pollard's going. And, we'd probably see a lot more Rico Dowdle if he was active because it's Deuce Vaughn. We've seen him on 2 or 3 plays already, but it's probably going to be, 75-80% Pollard in this game. So really, they really need to get Pollard going consistently throughout the game.
So real quick, I just want to shout out some of the people on Instagram. The Instagram chats don't pop up on our comments. Only the YouTube ones do. So, and apparently it doesn't automatically scroll on Instagram either. So Alana says, "Woo, Aaron," on Instagram chat. So thank you, Alana, for tuning in. We have Janae Overton saying, "What do you think the Cowboys need to fix going into the postseason?" Janae, They still have the heading into the postseason. They need to figure out how to win away from home. That's what they need to figure out. That's kind of been their only weakness. Blake Contz has been a great game. Cowboys defense has been phenomenal. They have and also Detroit seems to shoot themselves in the foot. First play coming back from the commercial break is to Ferguson in the flat, but he turns it upfield and finds 8 yards to set up 2nd and 2 to get the Cowboys out of the shadow of their own end zone.
Yeah, and right now, obviously, with the Eagles leading the division and having this having the division spot, the Cowboys are going to have to figure out how to win on the road if they do get that wild card spot. So that's the tough part for them.
2nd and 2, Dak hands it off to Tony Pollard up the middle, breaks a couple tackles, finds his way for the first down and plus some. And it'll be a first down for the Cowboys, who are now definitely outside of the shadow of the end zone, just ticking under 5 minutes here remaining in the second quarter. 1st and 10 for the Cowboys. Pollard stays in the game. They're at the 20-yard line. Dak is under center. Brandon Cooks in motion. Handoff is fake. Dak rolling to the right. Has CeeDee Lamb in the flat. He's going to turn it upfield. Runs out of bounds after a gain of 6. Realized he wasn't going to make it past the 3 white shirts standing in front of him. But positive gain to set up 2nd and 4.
Yeah, obviously still has a ton of yards after the 92-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, his season high is unfortunately against the Eagles with 191 on the season. And the guys doing the studio show were talking about getting 200, obviously still well in play as he's at 133. But, I'd love to see a 200-yard game from CeeDee Lamb.
Under center, Dak Prescott drops back, play action fake, and, well, we are possibly going to see it because CeeDee Lamb with another reception on the near side for a first down for the Cowboys up to the 45-yard line.
Okay, maybe this drive.
Drive like 200.
Just
CeeDee Lamb with an in-and-out route right at the 40-yard line, guides himself out of bounds, not taking the damage. So, 1st and 10 for the Cowboys from their own 39. 3:36 remaining in the half, taking their time, trying to make sure they don't give Detroit much time if they get the ball back. This one is handed off to Tony Pollard, who bangs his way into the line and gets 2 yards. It doesn't seem like the holes are there, but he's forcing his will upon them if he gets the chance to.
Just a physical runner. I mean, again, got contacted right at the line of scrimmage and just kind of popped out right to the right of where he was at, kind of between that center and right guard position there, that hole in the line, and got a gain. It looked like they only gave him 1. I thought he got 2 or 3 on that, but again, keep it going.
Under center again, Dak Prescott. 2 wide receivers, 1 to each side. Pollard deep behind him. Taking his time as the play clock gets down to 2 seconds. Drops back, play action fake. He's under pressure immediately and hit and taken down. Who else could it be? Number 97 with a big tackle, Aiden Hutchinson, the stalwart sophomore for the Detroit Lions.
I know Dallas probably doesn't want there to be a lot of time on the clock, but now it seems like they're just trying to run it out, kind of like it's the end of the game. And you got to they've been doing okay when they're in attack mode. It seems like now they're getting a little bit passive, worrying about the clock a little bit more than the offense. And now it's going to be a 3rd and 17, and they're going to have to snap the ball before the 2-minute warning.
Blake, I'll tell you in a second. I'm going to get to your comments in a second. We have a few comments on the YouTube page I'll get to. We've got a whistle. The question is, the play clock's at 0, but the regular clock's at 2 minutes. But I guess the play clock ran out a tick before the 2-minute warning. So it'll be a 5-yard penalty to delay a game on the Cowboys. They're like, wait, it says 2 minutes on the clock, but it must have been a half-second difference. So now we'll go to the 2-minute warning, I guess, with a delay of game. Yeah, it was a 1-second difference between the clock and the play clock to get to 2 minutes, and Dak didn't know that. So we'll have a delay of game penalty, 3rd and 22 for the Cowboys. So like you said, Detroit has a chance to get the ball back now as they readjust the clock to 2:02. So 3rd and 22 for the Cowboys. So big fan sports. The Cowboys might be the most playoff-ready team in the NFC. I think the San Francisco 49ers might have something to say about that, even though they lost to Baltimore, but they didn't get blown out like the Cowboys and Eagles did to the Niners. What's the shirt choice? Well, this is my little friend right here. His name is Gritty. Big Flyers fan. I bought this shirt from Target, and then I realized that it was a Flyers type of shirt. Justin's getting his dinner delivered to him.
Look at that.
Nothing better than that. And so, yeah, I was like, oh, it looks like a Flyer shirt. So I ordered a Gritty patch, popped them there on my pocket. I hope you like it, Blake. That's what the shirt is. I still got thanks. Blake says, haha, respect. I appreciate your respect, Blake. All right, so we went to commercial break now, which I'm slightly confused about because I thought it was 3rd and 22 with 2:02 remaining, and they were going to have to run a play before the 2-minute warning?
Yeah, well, I had made that comment because I saw that it was certainly a half second. The play clock was a half second ahead. And so that would be I don't know if taking a delay a game before the 2-minute warning would be playoff ready either.
No.
Because
I mean, the Dallas Cowboys are never playoff ready because when they get in the playoffs, ever since everybody in this that's watching this has been alive pretty much, they've stunk in the playoffs. They haven't been able to win the playoffs. The only two that remember them winning the playoffs are you and me, Justin, because we're the old heads here.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't know. There's kind of weird timing rules with penalties when it's a running clock. But since it was on the offense, I'm really confused. One, I'm confused why they put 2 seconds and not 1 second on the clock.
Yeah, because it looked like one on the replay.
Nevertheless, 2-minute warning, but made the 3rd and 17. That's already difficult. 3rd and 22. And there's mistakes on both sides that's happening. This one happened to be a clock management mistake.
This seems like one of those Thursday night games where it's just sloppy, but they've had more time. It's Saturday night. It's not that big of a difference. So I don't know what's going on, if they're two good teams that just look sloppy or if they're two good teams that are making each other look sloppy. But it is 3rd and 22 when we get back from commercial break. I don't know if there's 2:01 on the clock because I don't know why they stepped away for commercial when I thought they put a second back on the clock to force the Cowboys to run a play. But we will find out. But we are still in the commercial break here. We're happy you're joining us here on the Play-by-Play Student Sports Network. I'm Zeke Sprague along with Justin, always talking louder. We gotta get a podcast, you and me, Justin, together. With that last name, you can't not have a podcast. I know you go on some people's podcasts sometimes, but we got to get a bigger one for you with that last name. You have to be able to be a talker with that last name. So it is 3rd and 22 with 2 minutes exactly. So now I'm confused why the penalty was even called. All right, 3rd and 22 with 2 minutes exactly. Shotgun for Dak from his own 26-yard line in the flat to Ferguson. Obviously not going to get the first down, and he's brought down in bounds. If I'm Detroit, I'm letting him run out of bounds. He was that close to the out of bounds line to stop the clock. But a timeout by Detroit. He was headed toward the sideline. They tackle him. The Detroit Lions will get their first timeout of the half. They'll have 2 remaining as they get the ball back with 1:53 on the clock.
The goal to go series, set of downs for Detroit, and that last set of downs for the Cowboys has seemed like the offenses were just passive. I'm just not sure. They get aggressive and then they get into the red zone or even in the 10 zone. And then all of a sudden it seems like the play calls change and they're trying things to the outside and Jared Goff's throwing into quadruple coverage to Laporta in the back of the end zone. I would venture to guess, I don't have the stats up in front of me. I'm going to guess there's a lot of yardage that's been given up, just not a lot of points.
Anger with the punt, fielded at the 15-yard line up the middle. Now to the outside, has running room to the 30, 35, 40, finally brought down. A good return there by number 11, Khalif Raymond, who's been the kick returner for the Lions all night, his best one of the evening. And Jared Goff will have 1:40 to hopefully get the first touchdown for the Detroit Lions, especially if you're a Detroit fan. You are home. It's me and Sam having a banter in the private chat because he's a Giants fan. He says, "Let's go Cowboys when they play the Eagles." That's because you're not old enough to understand how annoying Cowboys were in the 90s and early 2000s, Sam. Don't you have to deal with Cowboys? I'm going to bring Sam on here real quick.
Yeah.
Don't you have to deal with Cowboys fans in North Jersey and you wonder why the heck they're Cowboys fans and they live in North Jersey?
See, Zeke, I don't like the Cowboys, but I have to deal with Eagles fans at Rowan. That's all there are. Eagles, Eagles, Eagles. Now, I don't like either.
It's in South Jersey, of course. I call Rowan University South Jersey University. It's pretty much what it is. But go ahead, Sam.
See, when they play, I root for the Cowboys, but when the Cowboys are playing the Lions, I'll root for the Lions.
There is nothing in the world. I am a very loving, even-keeled person most of the time, a very gracious person. But when I see that star, tonight, because it would help the Eagles if they won. But most times when I see that, there's nothing in the world that I despise almost as much as that star.
No, could you just imagine, Zeke, the Cowboys losing in the divisional round, the Eagles also losing in the divisional round too. How amazing would that be? So we could have a no NFC East in the conference championship. Yes, it'd be sad the Giants were in it, but hey, I need to sit back and relax.
I'm sure you'd be happy with it. I'm not big on the Eagles so far this year, Sam. They've looked absolutely terrible. Even against
Oh,
your terrible Giants last week, they looked horrendous.
they
But
they did her at they. If Darren Waller doesn't drop that ball in the first half, that would have been a clear-cut touchdown. And maybe the score would be a little different.
yeah, I don't. And Jalen Hurts not running out of bounds at the end of the first half. I didn't know what the heck was going on.
But I
But
still think the Eagles are going to go to the conference championship against the San Francisco 49ers. And I think the Niners are going to beat them because I think they are the best team in the NFC despite them getting their butt whooped against the Ravens.
I kind of agree with you, Sam. I'm hoping the LA Rams find a way to hit an upset in Week 18 to get the San Francisco at least to have to come to Philadelphia.
No,
But-
that's the way you guys go to the Super Bowl if you guys are home.
Have you watched the Eagles play this year? I don't know.
I did watch them play this year.
They're
But I
terrible.
also still believe in Jalen Hurts.
I believe in his abilities too, but his head's just not there. So like I said, he's not running out of bounds at the end of this first half.
What do you mean his head not there? He calls out the coaching staff.
Yeah, I know, but we got to go back to action. Get rid of Sam real quick. I love talking to Sam, but it is a completion on first down to the near side, and it's Williams with a reception, a 5-yard gain. Not what they really needed there, Justin, as they're on their own 40-yard line now to the 46. They're going to be obviously in a hurry up, so I don't know how much we'll hear from you, but real quick, shotgun, Jared Goff has a running back in the backfield. They hand it off. It is Jahmyr Gibbs, and he goes only 2 yards. Micah Parsons meets him there. They have 2 timeouts, but now the clock's ticking to a minute. I don't know what's going on, Justin.
Like I said, I'm not sure what the goal is here. I would think the goal is, especially you mentioned the Cowboys are going to get the ball after halftime. I'd be wanting to punch it into the end zone. So I'm not sure. Yeah.
Under center goes Goff on 3rd and 1. Hands it off again. Met in the backfield. What a terrible drive. I'm not a Detroit Lions fan. I am not a Cowboys fan, as we discussed. DeMarcus Lawrence met him in the backfield. 3rd and 1. They hand the ball off with 40 seconds remaining at midfield.
If that's what they were going to do, why did they call the timeout on 4th down? That's what I don't understand. If they were just
you're 15, 20 yards from field goal range and have a chance to put the ball in the end zone over a minute with 2 timeouts in modern NFL, that's like plenty of time. But they'll punt the ball away after a 3-yard loss. It'll be 4th and 5 from their own 45. I'm looking forward to what Nick, Sam, and John have on the halftime show. We'll have a brief commercial once halftime hits. Again, about play-by-play sports broadcast cams. And then Nicholas, Sam, and John will be back for the Saturday night action between the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys. Has not been that entertaining. It's been an entertaining game, but has many questions on some of these calls. 7-3 Cowboys, 44 seconds remaining before half. Detroit about to punt the ball away. And then Erin will have her halftime report as well. I really appreciate everybody joining in today. 4 more comments. Blake Quillen blowing up the can they just make you two the main broadcasters? Dude, if they want to give me half of Joe Buck's money, I will take it tomorrow. And I'm sure Justin will take a quarter of what they pay Troy Aikman. A punt is away with 40 seconds remaining. It's going to be fair caught at the 9-yard line. And the Cowboys have only 1 timeout remaining with 37 seconds. I'm assuming they're going to take the kneel and get to the Jimmy Johnson ceremony, but we'll find out here.
I want to just lob it up to CeeDee Lamb. I want him to hit 200. I want him to hit 200 in the first half. You got 3 shots to just throw it up, have him run underneath. I want to see that. But, yeah, the Jimmy Johnson thing's awesome.
Yeah, because obviously him and Jerry had a falling out after they got rid of him for some bizarre reason. But the Cowboys do come out in shotgun formation. 3 wide with a running back to his right-hand side. Dak drops back to his goal line, delivers it over the middle to CeeDee Lamb. So they got him the ball, but it really wasn't a lob up. It's only a 6-yard gain to set up 2nd and 4. The Cowboys do hurry to the line with 25 seconds coming off the clock. 24-23, Dak in shotgun. They do have one timeout, so maybe a big play. They'll call it. Dak drops back, looks to the right. He is met in the backfield by Aiden Hutchinson, who's going to have his second sack of the night, and that is going to lead us to halftime, where our score in Dallas is the Cowboys 7, the Detroit Lions 3, in what feels like an eventful game that has no scoring.
Yeah, obviously we're sitting here where we got the easy job watching and calling. We're not the ones practicing and calling the plays, but there's been multiple times on both sides where I've just been thoroughly confused at what's happening because, as you stated, the Lions were probably 15 to 20 yards out of a fairly comfortable field goal range, and they ran the ball twice and punted it away. So, hoping to see maybe a little bit more of that cleaned up so we get a little bit more of a cleaner second half, but entertaining for yardage, not entertaining for scoring. That's pretty much how you can sum that up.
Yeah, 3 different turnovers. Awesomeness. Sam Prince, what, you would leave SBC? I think Jeremy and Steve would understand if I left for $500,000 to announce NFL football. All right, we're going to have a brief commercial for the play-by-play sports broadcasting camp, and then we'll be back to Sam, Nicholas, John, and Aaron with the halftime show.
Breaking news, the 2024 Sports Broadcasting Camp schedule has arrived. Jeremy, you want to break it down for us?
I would be very happy to, Steve. June 3 to 7, we're going to be in Dallas. The 10th to the 14th, we're in Boca. 17th to the 21st, it's Villanova time. Did you miss Charles Barkley last year? We didn't. He was awesome. 24th to the 28th is Baltimore and Denver. Seek, take us to July.
July 1st through 5th, we start off virtually, as well as our 3-day workshop we're super excited for. The 8th through the 12th, New Jersey and Chicago are coming your way. 15th through the 19th, Atlanta and Neil Hartman in D.C., and the 22nd to 26th. I'm excited to head back to Boston.
How about Rugburn Ball in Boston and Zeke?
Rugburn Ball. Say it again, Jeremy.
Rugburn Ball. Steve, what's going on in August?
All right, the end of July into August, we have Seattle, again with Neil Hartman. August 5th to the 9th, we are at UCLA in lovely Los Angeles. Then we close the show August 11th to 16th at one of my favorites, Camp Green Lane. So, guys, does anything stick out to you in the schedule?
Well, Steve, first of all, I want to say I can't wait to play Gaga with you guys again at Green Lane. But FAU, we're going overnight this year for the first time in years, which is going to be really exciting. So we want you guys to sign up, check out the website, check out the schedule. We're going to see you this summer.
Welcome back to the Sports Broadcasting Camp Student Network for your first ever camp staff broadcast. I'm Sam Prince alongside Nicholas Bear and John Gross. If you guys have not so far registered for a play-by-play camp near you, go register. You saw this awesome commercial by Steve, Jeremy, and Zeke. 7-3 Dallas. They're only winning by 4, which it seems like they could be winning by more. It's been a sloppy game, to say the least. That's how you would describe this game. And John, sloppy, that's how you describe it. It is a little questionable call with Detroit punting it with less than 2 minutes to go. You had time. Why not go for it? Maybe a long field goal, a little too long. Go for it on 4th down. Dan Campbell's been one to go in gambling at the most in the NFL. He went for it on 4th down and not pay off in his own red zone where Dallas got the ball and where it could have been a 1-point game.
I think some of the play calling was questionable for Detroit. And honestly, if I'm Dan Campbell, I'm concerned for beyond just the play calling. I'm just concerned about only having 3 points after forcing 2 turnovers, including a fumble out of the end zone, converting in a fake punt. They've really thrown the kitchen sink at Dallas, and they only have 3 points. I'm worried about that if I'm Detroit. I think Dallas will be okay. Dak is doing a nice job getting the ball to his man, CeeDee Lamb. I think defensively, Dallas is playing well, but I'm with you. Some of the play calling was just very questionable. At some points in that first half, I thought that Detroit was a little bit too aggressive. And then we also saw on that last drive, maybe not quite aggressive enough. Not saying they should have gone for it on 4th down, but I just think that, I don't know. I feel like Dan Campbell has made some decisions that has in some ways taken his team out of the game when they very much could be winning this game given the opportunities that they've had.
Well, John, so far the Lions have 11 wins this season, thanks to Dan Campbell and company. But you mentioned CeeDee Lamb being the difference maker for Dallas. Well, he's got 6 receptions tonight, 151 yards, and a touchdown. He's also the difference maker for Detroit, fumbling in his own end zone, giving Detroit the ball, forcing a turnover. And Nick, what do the Detroit Lions have to do to come back in this game and potentially win the game?
Well, I think what Detroit is doing very well so far, starting with the defense. I mean, John mentioned all the issues on offense right now, but defensively, they're holding Dallas to 2.4 rush yards per carry right now and 8 carries. So, I mean, they're forcing Dak and this offense into so many third and longs or second and longs that it's super obvious pass situations that we talked about this earlier where Dallas had to force Detroit into all these second and third and longs. Instead, that's what's happening the other way around. So the pass rush is getting to Dak. He's not getting the ball out fast enough. And, just credit to the Lions defense. I mean, I know I was kind of the one who was out here saying, oh, they're not a great defense or whatever. And I still don't think they are. I mean, every
Well,
bad defense,
Nick, I mean,
has a good game, but that's what they're doing. They're stopping the run. If they continue to stop the run, I think they're going to hang in this game.
Well, Nick, didn't you call them a terrible defense in the pregame show?
Yes,
I think
did.
they're proving you a little wrong tonight.
Okay.
And, well,
every bad defense has good games. Look at what the Chargers have done here and there when they had Brandon Staley, okay?
Okay, we don't have to compare everything to the Chargers. And tonight, John, so far on this Detroit Lions team, you thought they would be rushing the ball a lot, and they have been. And Jahmyr Gibbs and Dave Montgomery combined for 15 carries tonight and 51 yards total. You thought maybe a little more, but it seems about right. But you go into the receiving end. They have, in order to win, they're going to need to target Amon St. Brown, who is a reception king for them, leads the team in receptions and top 10 in the league in receptions. 3 receptions, 56 yards, long on 23 yards. How do they get the ball back in Amon St. Brown's hand to get them the score and to get them potentially the win and to get them really the 12th win of the year? And if they win tonight, there's a real shot that they go for the 2 seed.
Absolutely. I think that will be key for them because he is the game changer on the outside offensively. Amon-Ra St. Brown. They've done a couple of things to get him the football, of course, throwing him the ball. And then they ran that jet sweep on a handoff to him as well, which picked up 11 yards on the ground. But they need to find creative ways to get him the football. And I think a lot of that is going to come from what we talked about earlier, finding success on first and second down so that on later downs, the defense doesn't necessarily know that, okay, it's an obvious passing down. Maybe hit a play action deep shot to Amon-Ra St. Brown. That could be something that could be opened up if they find more success in first and second down. So, Sam, I'm with you. They need to find Amon-Ra St. Brown, who, by the way, he and his brother, the greatest names, I think, in NFL history.
The greatest names? I think that's up there. And I think if they're going to use him on St. Brown, they're going to need to use him as a gadget type player. You already saw the jet sweep. You mentioned a play action pass. You start using these plays, you're going to open up your other receivers. Know who I would really like to see get open on the lines? Well, and that's Jameson Williams, who's they really haven't used him all season. The 2022 first round draft pick alongside Aiden Hutchinson from the Detroit Lions. They haven't got him all season long. I would love to see them sort of get him in a wide receiver 3 position because coming out of the draft, he was rated as the best wide receiver from Alabama coming off that injury from the national championship game. And Nick, who's the other weapon for Detroit they can use in the passing game that's not named Amon St. Brown? Because if I'm the Cowboys, I'm going to keep on doubling Amon St. Brown.
Well, if you're going to double Amon-Ra St. Brown, then the Lions got to answer back with Sam Laporta. I know he's been mentioned quite often so far in this broadcast as probably the best tight end of this draft class that we've had. He's a big target. Jared Goff loves his tight ends ever since he was with the Rams a few years ago. Those are his kind of guys. And John was saying earlier, if you're getting into these third and shorts, they can take these deep shot play action passes to Amon-Ra St. Brown. But why not just do those little bootleg passes to Sam Laporta? He's so big. He can get you 10, 15 yards after the catch. Use him a little more that way.
Yeah, no, Nick, I definitely agree with that. And tonight he's been targeted 5 times and only 1 reception with 8 yards. And John, tonight, so far, the Cowboys have been using Tony Pollard in the rushing game, and so far going into the second quarter, we all had more rushing yards than him. So they've been using the passing game, but as you mentioned, we talked about earlier, this Detroit secondary isn't the greatest, and Dallas has been exposing them as what to really take control of this game. What the Cowboys need to do, they're going to need to take control of the rushing game. And John, how do they do that tonight?
Any success on the ground always starts with the offensive line creating holes. So we can say all we want about Tony Pollard having only 16 rushing yards at halftime. Deuce Vaughn has 3 yards as well. But it's a team effort. In order to run the football, you have to have an offensive line. And Sam, you have a Giants banner behind you. Look at Saquon Barkley behind that offensive line. So it has to start with this group up front. And the funny thing about it is for so many years, we've looked at this Dallas offensive line and said, okay, that is the strength of this team on offense. Different story this year. That's been one of the weakest parts of this team.
And speaking of offensive line, that's what the Cowboys are going to need to do. They're going to need to hold up for Dak to throw to CeeDee Lamb, who's got over 150 yards tonight, and Dak a little over 200 passing yards, and he's been sacked twice tonight. If that line holds up, then the Cowboys should get the win in Big D tonight. But before we go back to tonight's game, we're going to send it over to our sideline reporter, Aaron McNanny.
So this has definitely been a little bit unexpected and definitely been a little slower of a scoring game. As you saw, the Lions aren't playing as kind of what I was saying before. They aren't playing as to what like the caliber I thought they would be playing. But again, we still have some time. You can definitely see some notable players for the Cowboys. You had Dak, you had CD and Cooks. Definitely, you saw a lot of movement through there. And then some players for the Lions, you had Gibbs and also Goff. But I think you'd expect the Detroit Lions to be playing a little more tougher and trying to at least score something. Definitely mentioned in the broadcast earlier, they should have taken that field goal, the kick, but it is what it is. They could have been a little closer. But we just got to see for the rest of the game. Still, I got the Lions, but so far it's not looking too great for them.
And Aaron, thank you for that sideline report. And before we go back to the guys in the booth with Zeke and Justin, Nick, John, what is the biggest difference maker of a play so far tonight? The line going forward on 4th down in the red zone and not getting the touchdown and getting the stop, or CeeDee Lamb fumbling it in his own end zone and turning the ball over to the Lions. I'll start with you, Nick.
I have to go with CeeDee Lamb with the fumble because I thought that was certainly going to be a touchdown for them. I forget what down it was. I think it was 2nd down if I'm not mistaken there. They could be up 14-3 right now if not for that, but instead the Lions got the ball back. As you mentioned, they failed to score on that drive. So yeah, it's been just a game of questionable play calls all around, but certainly one that's keeping us entertained because no one's running away with this one.
Yeah, no one is running away with this one, Nick. I do agree with you on that. It's a close game, it'll be a thriller towards the end. It'll have us to our edge of our seats. John, what is the biggest difference maker? CeeDee Lamb's touchdown fumble in his own end zone, or the Lions not getting the touchdown on 4th down?
I think at the micro level, I think it was the fumble by CeeDee Lamb, like you guys said. But big picture, remember what led to that Detroit drive. They have the fumble out of the back of the end zone just when it seemed like Dallas was going to take a 2-score lead. They marched downfield. I believe that was the fake punt drive as well. And then they stall inside the 10-yard line, unable to run the ball on 1st down, which I just don't understand why teams are not under center inside the 3-yard line. It just makes no sense to me when they try to run the ball like that. Either way, I think that both plays were critical plays. And if you just look at how the momentum really changed in favor of Detroit after that fumble, they could have had a lead, and then right away it swung right back to Dallas after stalling inside the 10-yard line.
Guys, I'm gonna have to go with Detroit not getting the touchdown on the fourth down conversion for my critical play. What's the difference? Biggest maker between that or the CD Lamb touchdown fumble, because it could be a 1-point game. And if Dallas's offense keeps on being slow and not productive tonight, and they can't find a way, and this O line doesn't hold up, it's a one-score game, and the Lions can trot down the field and get a field goal and make it 9-7. So you never know with these little points, but I think both are key factors. We're going to see what is the biggest difference maker come into at the end of the game. We'll be back here for post-game show. But before we go to Zeke and Justin, is there a player that has surprised you guys so far by either team? I'm going to start with you, John.
Player who's surprised. I don't know if I would say an individual player who's surprised. I think, though, a unit that is surprised is probably Detroit's defense in general. I'm not as low on Detroit's defense as Nick is, calling them an awful defense. I think that they're
I believe he said terrible defense.
Terrible. Okay. Apologies, Nick. I don't want to put words in your mouth. A terrible defense is what he said. I think that they're a solid defense. They're not great. They're not terrible. They're solid. But today they played at a very high level. To hold Dallas to just 7 points at halftime speaks volumes of the way that they have played defense today.
And Nick, 30 seconds before we go back to the game with Zeke and Justin, what player has surprised you the most from either team?
Yeah, I'm with John. I don't know that anyone's really surprised me. I think the players that you expect to do something have kind of showed up this game. But I'm in agreement with John. I think it's mostly the Detroit Lions defense keeping them in this game right now. Like I said before the game, Dallas at home, they usually pick apart these opponents, but that's not happening so far.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with the both you guys. And before coming into this game, the Cowboys averaged 28.5 points at home, and Dak Prescott having a 20-2 touchdown to interception ratio. And we're going to bring it back to the booth with the guys and Zeke and Justin Louder. We'll be back for your next commercial break. I'm Sam Prince alongside Nick Bear and John Gross.
Oh, get ready here, Sam. There we go. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate everything you guys are doing. You're doing a fantastic job. The Cowboys have had a few plays, and the first play, a couple yards on a run. Next play, well, they didn't get off because it was a false start. And then a quick reception to CD Lamb on the next one sets up the Cowboys 3rd and 7 from their 27-yard line. Dak will be in the shotgun with 4 wide receivers, 3 to the far side, 1 to the near side with Tony Pollard to his left in the backfield. 5 on the play clock, 13:30, obviously just into the second half. This one, a slant over the middle, CD Lamb. Amazingly, you think of them as big play receivers. First down for CD Lamb. Sorry, I just interrupted my own call. Gets the first down by a yard to move the ball out to the 36-yard line. CD Lamb and Amon-Ra St. Brown, Justin, 2 of the biggest, best receivers in the NFL, lead the league 1 and 2 in receptions out of the slot, surprisingly.
Yeah, you don't usually see those things together. You think the outside receivers are the big play guys, but yeah, I mean, it's just how it is. And he's, 200-yard watch. He's 36 yards away.
Cameron Sutton makes a big tackle on the near side as it was a pitch to Tony Pollard on first down for the Cowboys. Goes absolutely nowhere. The cornerback came up and made the tackle a yard into the backfield, so it'll be another second and super long for the Cowboys. It doesn't seem like that run game of the outside's been there today for the Cowboys, Justin.
No, and it was actually Brandon Cooks was out there and had it blocked pretty well. It just there was pursuit from the backside and there was nowhere to go. They're having way more success between the tackles than they are to that outside, like you said.
Shotgun this time. A Texas route out of the backfield to Pollard. It is in and out of his hands. He was covered well, but it is incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 12, a Texas route for those. The only reason I say that is not my favorite play in Madden football when I played it back in the day, where the running back runs out and then back toward the middle of the field on the route, but it wasn't there. Good pressure that time for the Detroit defense.
Yeah, and I don't seem to have 51 on the roster I'm looking at, but Yeah, it was actually pretty good coverage, and he lost his footing there, but good recognition there. Had he not recognized that, Pollard would have had a lot of room.
Shotgun again for Dak, a big 3rd and 12, dropping back deep, throwing to the far side. It is incomplete. And this defense that we've been talking about at the beginning of this game was terrible, awful, and really bad, according to Nicholas Bear. We're never going to let him live that down for how well they're playing tonight. Makes another stand. Nowhere to go. Dallas got 1 first down, and now they'll punt the ball away.
Yeah, and I mean, it really, outside of the, big broken play, this Dallas offense has not done a lot. They haven't done nothing. They've done more than that. But, we've kind of said this game is entertaining on some levels and then also not entertaining on other levels. And this is kind of part of it.
This punt away out to the 24-yard line, fielded there, and then immediately brought down. So no run space that time for the wide receiver for the Detroit Lions, Khalif Raymond. But the Detroit Lions have had so many opportunities and so much momentum in the first half. We'll see if they can do a better job of taking that momentum and running with it with 12 minutes remaining in the third quarter, their first opportunity of the second half.
Yeah, it seems like for both sides, whenever their offenses get the ball, it seems like it's like this is their opportunity. This is when they're going to make something happen. And then we get disappointed by whatever it is, whether it's, questionable play calling or maybe passive play calling or, anything else that comes in. Pre-snap penalties weren't really an issue in the first quarter. And, second quarter, and Cowboys already had a false start on their first drive that we just saw. That sloppy play and sloppy play calling is pretty much what's leading this 7-3 defensive battle.
Yeah, this has been a defensive battle, but movement of the ball. This has been a crazy game. Like we said, this is kind of one of those Thursday night matchups that you anticipate when you have the Thursday night matchup with teams that look a little sloppy.
Well, and then how about the Thursday night matchup we had? I mean,
yeah, true.
Browns and Jets. You think that would be maybe
Joe
the
Flacco, greatest
battle.
quarterback of all time? Who knew? I mean, I think everybody's rooting for Joe Flacco to go and beat the Ravens and win the Super Bowl, except for Ravens fans, obviously. But that would be one of the craziest stories ever to exist in the NFL, Justin.
Yeah, all these NFL scripted comments that happened earlier in the season. Bet they didn't have this scripted.
Yeah,
I mean that's pretty crazy. Did you see someone had tweeted at Johnny Manziel that Joe Flacco has already passed him for 31st on the list?
Records are meant to be broken. You have to give it to Johnny Manziel. He obviously did not pan out. Was a terrible pick. No one actually thought he was going to be an NFL quarterback, right? I as big as a Tim Tebow fan as I was, I don't think anybody ever thought he was going to be an NFL quarterback. I don't think anybody ever thought Johnny Manziel was going to be an NFL quarterback. But he takes it with a grain of salt, and he got his ability, got his wins, got his money, and just Johnny Football does Johnny Football. Obviously, could you imagine the NIL deal? How much he would have made back in the day in the NCAA?
Oh man, I mean, really, those kind of the Andrew Lucks, the RG3s, those really big time quarterbacks.
I mean, RG3 was on the cover of NCAA football. He would have made money just from that. So we'll see what that happens when that comes back. We are back to action. Under center, Jared Goff hands it off to Montgomery. Hand to the left-hand side. Only gains 2 this time. Probably his shortest run of the day so far. And it'll be 2nd and 8 for the Detroit Lions. I can definitely feel the rust. I haven't done play-by-play in a while. The rust is slowly coming off here, Justin.
Oh, you're doing great.
I'm happy you're here with me to do this. We got some predictions I'll get to in a second. Got some predictions in the chat. If you're
Perfect.
on Instagram, let us know what you think, who you think is going to win this game. Another handoff to Montgomery on 2nd and 8. This one's a much bigger game. Past the first down marker to the 45, 50, out of bounds, right around midfield. Mr. David Montgomery, our favorite guest of sports broadcasting camp, well, up until this year when Charles Barkley came around, is having himself another solid evening on the gridiron.
Nothing against David Montgomery, obviously. But yeah,
Charles Barkley.
when you got Charles Barkley, exactly. And For the comment we just made about the Cowboys not having success around the outside, the Lions really haven't either. I mean, that one was basically off the center's right hip. And the great block in the replay, they're highlighting Jamison Williams blocking downfield. Great to spring him out for a huge gain. And once again, Detroit in Cowboys territory.
Into Cowboys territory, the first play is a shotgun handoff to Montgomery off the right-hand side for 4 more yards. So it'll set up 2nd and 6 from the 45-yard line. Both runners have done well tonight for the Detroit Lions. So we got Big Fan Sports, he was the one that said the Cowboys were the most playoff ready. So we know who he picked, 24-13. And we got another staff member of the camp, Joe Torty, saying 13-10 Lions. I guess I'm all for that because this game has been crazy. Handoff up the middle. Montgomery again. He is brought down after another 4-yard gain. So it will be a 3rd and short on the 40-yard line for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, and it's kind of when you have 2 running backs that have the potential of both getting 1,000-yard rushing seasons like Detroit does, not so much maybe after this game. We'll kind of see what Gibbs has, but they're kind of riding the hot hand right now of Montgomery. And, I would have said probably before the game that he's not as explosive. We just saw that explosive run that got him into Cowboys territory. But, when you have a 2-headed running attack like that, that gives you a huge advantage. But we've talked about it all night. Detroit has to take advantage of those advantages that they have.
3rd and 2, they hand it off to him again. This time not to Montgomery. This time to the rookie, and he goes off the left-hand side. It's met in the backfield, but he did get back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th and 2 from the 42-yard line. This is kind of no man's land. You kind of expect him to go for it because a punt doesn't gain you much. But that handoff to Jahmyr Gibbs went absolutely nowhere. 4th and 2. We'll see what the play is called. I feel like we've had these plays. Every single drive, there's been big plays. Goff drops back, looking to the near side. Has Laporte. It is a 1st down, a 4-yard gain. And the chains will finally move a little more forward for the Detroit Lions after having to get another 4th down conversion.
Well, that's probably, other than the punt, which was awesome, the fake punt, excuse me, that was probably the best 4th down call we've seen. And again, it was just a little out route. Laporta, who has been targeted probably 6 or 7 times already, just a nice, easy catch. You only need a couple yards. And they converted. Good throw, good catch. Yep, 6 targets. He's only 2 for 12, though, for the game is Laporta.
Well, now he's 3 for about 18 as they hit him on this one for 6 yards. Laporta gets the ball out of the shotgun from Goff. Little scuffle downfield after the play, but it'll set up a 2nd and about 4 for the Lions.
Yeah, it's been getting a little chippy, and it's been I don't know if Jordan Lewis was in on that one for the Cowboys, but it's been Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jordan Lewis that have kind of gone back and forth. It was not Jordan. Well, he was in there that time, but I'm not sure if he was the one. But there's been some chippiness here, some pushing and shoving. No flags as of yet, but they will certainly look perhaps at maybe getting that a little more in tow here as the game goes on.
Jahmyr Gibbs with a handoff to the near side this time, breaks it through the offensive line, gets a 1st down all the way down to the 25-yard line. A big run, the 20-yard line for Jahmyr Gibbs on a 2nd and 4 off the right-hand side. A 1st down to move the chains right short of the red zone for the Lions offense. Back to the action. Sorry, Justin. They're going right under center here at the 21-yard line. 7:08 coming off the clock in the 3rd quarter. Down 7-3. The Lions looking to finally strike some more points on the board. Handoff. Jahmyr Gibbs met in the backfield. 2 people meet, and of course, one is Micah Parsons, because that's what always happens with the Cowboys. And it goes from 1st and 10 to 2nd and long. It'll be 2nd and 13 after a 3-yard loss.
Micah Parsons shedded 2 blocks and was still in the backfield to make that play. I mean, I'm not sure what the
he's Micah Parsons.
Odds are. Well, yeah, I was like, I'm not sure what the odds are for Defensive Player of the Year, but he's got to be up there. He's spectacular.
In the conversation, 2nd and 13 for the Lions, dropping back out of the shotgun, complete over the middle, near a 1st down. It is in fact a 1st down out of the 10-yard line. Reception made that time by Josh Reynolds. I think it's the first time I've said his name all night. and he will gain a first down to the 10-yard line for the Lions and a chance to make big points on the board, hopefully with a 1st and goal, or maybe just shy of the 1st and goal for Detroit, wide open on that crossing route.
Yeah, and Josh Reynolds has been kind of a role player for a little while for the Lions. And I think the only other time that we mentioned his name was, I think, on the first drive when he was targeted but didn't make the catch.
This handoff off the middle. Sorry, Justin, to jump over you there. I apologize, but it is a 6-7-yard gain for David Montgomery right up the middle off the right guard. And it'll set up 2nd and short, 2nd and 4 for the Lions.
Yeah, your video is a little ahead of mine, so I apologize for that. But
that's okay. He was about to look like he might have broke to the end zone. I didn't want to miss that. So We'll see here.
Doing play-by-play, I understand.
Yeah, 2nd and 4 under center, goes Goff again. They can get a first down just inside the 1. He hands it off to Montgomery again, makes a few men miss in the backfield, falls forward for about 2. Not much more there, but it'll set up 3rd and short from the 3-yard line.
They have to score a touchdown. I mean,
I know, but here's my thing. They got to bring it within 1, so at least if the Cowboys score, right?
I'm not saying don't kick the field goal. I would absolutely say kick the field goal if it gets to a 4th down, but they got to punch it in. I mean, it feels like they've had.
Let's see if they'll do that here. Goff is under center. Montgomery behind him. To the left-hand side, he's handoff, makes one man miss in the backfield, and in fact, they will punch it in for the first touchdown of the night for the Detroit Lions. It is our favorite guest. Tonight, he'll be our favorite guest of sports broadcasting camp. David Montgomery with a 3-yard run to give the Lions a 3 or a 2-point lead with an extra point to come.
Yeah, how fitting that Montgomery would punch that in when we're doing our play-by-play camp staff broadcast. For the purpose of how this game has gone, especially for the Lions offense, that had to happen. They had to get something, and a field goal again would have been fine, whatever. But again, give it to the hot hand. Gibbs had a couple good runs, but I was kind of worried there when they gave it to Gibbs the first time after Montgomery broke 2 runs in a row that they were going to stall out again.
David Montgomery, everybody wondered what kind of role he was going to have this year with them drafting Jahmyr Gibbs in the 1st round. And, well, a big enough role, I guess, where he's made a huge impact, over 1,000 yards or close to 1,000 yards rushing on the season. Let's go back to our staff in the studio, Nicholas, Sam, and John. Whoop, I removed myself.
Well, guys, it's Dave Montgomery scoring the touchdown for the Lions. SBC, former guest at Chicago camp and virtual camp. Isn't it that he had the first touchdown of the night for the Lions, and it's an SBC broadcast of our staff. And it's 10-7, guys. Detroit is finally leading the first time in this game. And John, what are your biggest takeaways from this second half so far? And do you think Detroit can keep this lead?
I think that was a textbook drive, especially given the way that this game has gone. The drive took over 7 minutes, and you know what they did when they got the ball inside the 10-yard line? They got under center, and they pounded the football between the tackles. None of that outside stuff, nothing out of the shotgun like they did the first time that they got inside the 10-yard line. Just smash-mouth football, and Dan Campbell, who was known as that physical, intense guy, said, we are going to beat you in the trenches, and that is exactly what Detroit did to cap off that drive.
And John, they beat them in the trenches to cap off that drive on a 3rd and 2 touchdown score by Dave Montgomery, friend of the program. And Nick, let's just say if Dave Montgomery does not get the 2 yards on first down, do you think the Lions should have gone for it? Because I think it was 4-down territory for the Lions.
I agree. I'm more on the aggressive side of fans, and Sam, you know this, when it comes to being 4th and goal situation. I think when you're in the 5, more often than not, you should go for it, unless it's like the end of game or end of half just to get the points. But I certainly would have gone for it. Justin said on the broadcast that they needed to punch it in here. I didn't think they had a real choice. I didn't think they could give Dallas the ball back just down by 1. But building off of what John said, what I've said earlier about Dan Campbell too, that drive, that's the identity that Dan Campbell has built with the Lions since he got there. And they finally leaned into it. And what do you know? They score a touchdown. What do you know? I said, hey, maybe you should use Sam Laporta in some of these 4th and 3rd and short situations. Well, they got Sam Laporta in motion before the snap on 4th down, and he gets the first down. This is exactly what they should be doing, and we see it leads to success.
Is exactly what the Lions should be doing. This is the Dan Campbell type of football where I thought they'd be playing going into this game. We're spoiling that Jimmy Johnson Cowboy Ring of Honor. Doesn't this smell like a nice Dan Campbell era football, spoiling everything and having the Lions not be the same old Lions? And we're going to send it back to the booth with Zeke and Justin Louder. I'm Sam Prince alongside Nicholas Bear and Justin Grass. We'll be back for your next commercial break.
Thank you, Samuel. You're the best, bud. Even though you're a Giants fan, you've become one of my favorite people, so I appreciate it. We've been jabbing in the chat all day about NFC East football. So speaking of the NFC East, the Cowboys have the ball back after a touchback on the 25-yard line. Dak is in the shotgun, hands it off, and that's the one we were talking about earlier, the backup running back for this evening. And the son of a coach, number 42, Deuce Vaughn, is brought down in the backfield by Aiden Hutchinson, who we said his name just as much as Micah Parsons this evening. He's not as explosive as last year, only 7.5 sacks when he had 9.5 last year to lead all rookies. But he showed up tonight in a big spot.
Yeah, during the halftime show when Sam was asking the guys about, surprise players, again, I kind of agreed there wasn't really an individual that was a surprise, but Aiden Hutchinson has been playing great and doing a lot of things in the backfield tonight.
This time it's a shotgun, screen side to Deuce Vaughn. Again, he moves up the field, and the little man has 8 yards to set up a 3rd and 1 for the Cowboys. He was brought down after only 1 yard in his last carry, but this time he gets a screen on the right-hand side, goes 8 yards forward to set up a 3rd and very short for the Cowboys.
Again, good continuation there and a good timing. 2 pulled linemen there, blocking downfield, springing that run. And again, Dallas's offense needs to respond. As bad as Detroit needed that touchdown the last drive, Dallas needs some sustained success on this drive as well.
Well, they have some success here on 2nd or 3rd and short. It's handed off to Pollard up the middle, and he goes through the line immediately, past midfield, into Lions territory to the 47-yard line. 10-plus yards on the run from Tony Pollard.
Yeah, that was a great run. And again, you mentioned the physicality of Tony Pollard in the first half. I mean, he was pretty much stood up on his own 45, and he just kept those legs churning for another 7 or 8 yards.
Did a good job of making himself small on that run, finding the hole in the line. The Cowboys are back under center on the 48 of the Lions. Motion to the near side. He has 2 wide receivers to the near side, under center. Hands off to Pollard again. This time he's met in the backfield right at midfield. There will be a loss of a yard. A big tackle made in the backfield by number 55, Derek Barnes of the Lions defense.
Yeah, and maybe that's a little bit of a makeup. Yeah, probably not, but a little bit makeup for the CeeDee Lamb touchdown there. Pursuing that and making sure that he wraps up that time for the tackle. That was a great defensive effort. And again, just getting into Detroit territory. I don't know if that run took him out of the territory, their midfield maybe, but this Detroit defense has shown up, and they're doing quite a bit right now in the positive.
Shotgun for Dak, drops back, play action fake. He's looking deep over the middle of the field. Brandon Cooks is well covered, and it'll fall painlessly to the turf. And incomplete. We do have a Dallas Cowboy down on the field. That's number 73 on the offensive line. Starter Tyler Smith. Like we said, I think one of the guys said it in one of the commercial shows that their offensive line was one of the strongest parts of this Dallas team the last couple of years. This year they've had some injuries, and they haven't really been all that great. So obviously they don't want to miss a starter. Cooks was thrown to on that play before this because Sutton kind of tripped on the way there, but he had safety help over the top, so nothing there for the Cowboys, and we'll head to commercial one more time. Let's run the commercial for the play-by-play sports broadcasting camp real quick.
Breaking news, the 2024 Sports Broadcasting Camp schedule has arrived. Jeremy, you want to break it down for us?
I would be very happy to, Steve. June 3 to 7, we're going to be in Dallas. The 10th to the 14th, we're in Boca. 17th to the 21st, it's Villanova time. Did you miss Charles Barkley last year? We didn't. He was awesome. 24th to the 28th is Baltimore and Denver. Zeke, take us to July.
July 1st through 5th, we start off virtually, as well as our 3-day workshop we're super excited for. The 8th through the 12th, New Jersey and Chicago are coming your way. 15th through the 19th, Atlanta and Neil Hartman in D.C., and the 22nd to 26th. You know I'm excited to head back to Boston.
How about Rugburn Ball in Boston and Zeke?
Rugburn Ball. Say it again, Jeremy.
Rugburn Ball. Steve, what's going on in August?
All right, the end of July into August, we have Seattle, again with Neil Hartman. August 5th to the 9th, we are at UCLA in lovely Los Angeles. Then we close the show August 11th to 16th at one of my favorites, Camp Green Lane. So, guys, does anything stick out to you in the schedule?
Well, Steve, first of all, I want to say I can't wait to play Gaga with you guys again at Green Lane. But FAU, we're going overnight this year for the first time in years, which is going to be really exciting. So we want you guys to sign up, check out the website, check out the schedule. We're going to see you this summer.
So, yeah, if you guys have not signed up for play-by-play camps yet this summer, you unfortunately missed the early bird discount that we always have every year. But we would love to see you this summer in any city. Seattle with Justin, Philadelphia, my hometown, North Jersey, Boston, LA, Chicago, Atlanta, South Florida. Oh, we're going to be everywhere. It's going to be an absolute blast, which is apparently my patented word that I say all the time now on every live stream that we have. So feel free to come hang out with us, Justin, me. I'm sure Sam, Prince, Nicholas, Bear, John Gross will be there. Aaron hopefully will be. I think she likes us enough to be on this broadcast. She must like us enough hopefully to come back for another summer. And if you're interested in doing anything virtually, we have a virtual camp during the summer. But we also have virtual activities running throughout the whole entire spring. Go to playbyplaycamps.com for more information on all of our programs. We head back third quarter, 1:52 remaining in the third quarter, 3rd and 11 for the Cowboys, just inside their own Detroit territory, down 10-7. Dak calling out signals, plenty of time on the play clock. He's in the shotgun with 4 wide receivers and Pollard to his left. He drops back, looks to the right-hand side, and it's CeeDee Lamb. Surprise, surprise. CeeDee Lamb, first down and more, works his way to the 35-yard line. That is another catch for CeeDee Lamb and puts him closer to that 200 yards we were talking about. Moves him up to 178 yards on the play.
Yeah, and I was, certainly going to tune in now. Talked about the offensive line struggles of the Cowboys. The TJ Bass is in there at left guard. Shout out to another Oregon guy, undrafted rookie this year. Did a fine job there as it was a pretty quick pass, but can't see Lamb not getting 200 at this point.
Brian Branch with a missed tackle allowed the first down. Now we have a quick screen to Brandon Cooks, who holds onto the ball, and his ankles are wrapped up after only 2 yards. Tackle made by number 29, Kendall Vildor. On that tackle, CeeDee Lamb is up over 1,600 yards this season. He is 1 yard away. So I knew he had a chance to break both the receptions and the yards record of Michael Irvin in this game. He's already broken the receptions. He's 1 yard away from breaking the yards record for single season receptions for the Cowboys in Cowboys history, which obviously is a very storied history. 5 wide now for the boys. At the 33-yard line, 2nd and 8, over the middle, dropped. It was a little behind him. CeeDee Lamb couldn't hold on to it. So it'll set up 3rd and 8 with 31 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
Yeah, kind of cool that CeeDee Lamb, I'm assuming, will break the yardage record. And
unless he gets hurt on this very next play, I think so.
Yeah, knock on wood. Don't want that to happen.
No.
But with Michael Irvin in attendance for the Ring of Honor, that's pretty cool to have that opportunity. And
you wonder how Michael Irvin feels about it, because his kind of personality. I wonder how he feels about it. So we're going to go.
We'll ask him, Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, probably. Shotgun. 4 wide and the tight end to the near side. Evenly split. Dropping back is Dak. Quick over the middle looking for CeeDee again, but was blanketed on both sides, and it's incomplete. 4th and 8 with a field goal to come, and it's Mr. Reliable to come out and kick the ball. The weird, strange path to the NFL rookie, Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah, that's strange and weird.
MLS draft. Played soccer at Notre Dame. Played in the MLS for a little bit. Realized soccer wasn't his calling and said, I'll kick and make just as much money in the NFL. So the kick to come from 51 yards. He's been perfect all year, 33 for 33. This one curves inside, easy, 34 for 34. So Brandon Aubrey ties it at 10 with 23 seconds remaining in the third quarter. We will stay right here at the end of the quarter. We'll go back to our studio group. But 10-10, Justin, it's been an entertaining game, like we said. As entertaining as it's been, the fact we only have 20 points on the board is crazy. But both teams still in it. Both teams will be in the playoffs. Undoubtedly, they're both clinched. But they want to better their position in the standings heading into those playoffs.
Let's give a shout out to Joe Torty. He's a Badgley field goal away from being right.
He is. So we just need a Detroit field goal, and Joe Torty would have a perfect prediction. He said at halftime, 13-10 Lions. There's Joe, also a fellow camp staffman, helped us with Dallas last year and North Jersey. I think he stopped by Philadelphia for a brief moment as well, since that is his home area. So, it's funny because the Eagles wanted to win the division. So if the Cowboys win, they still have a chance of not winning the division. But they also play the Arizona Cardinals this week at home and Sam's Giants in the Meadowlands, which in that matchup, you never know what's going to happen. But if the Eagles play as well, half as well as they should be playing, they should beat both those teams. If they play 100%, they'll blow those teams out. But we'll see what happens. The kickoff is going to be out of the back of the end zone, so we'll have a little more time to talk about that. If the Detroit Lions lose, the Eagles have a chance to go up to the number 2 seed. So that would also be good for the Birds. They're telling the story of Brandon Aubrey, played also in the USFL after going out of the MLS. So either way is kind of a good result for the Eagles, but we'll see. One thing I don't like about the NFL is the fact they don't announce their schedule at all for Week 18 until like Week 17 is over. So I have no idea what time the games are going to be next week, Justin. So we'll see what happens. First play under center for Goff. Handoff. Jameer Gibbs breaks it back in another humongous run. He's past midfield, 20, 30-plus yards, all the way to the 40-yard line of the Cowboys. But there is a flag on the play. Is he going to have to just run 30 yards for no reason? Holding. I've never seen a referee do like this for holding it. Like, I don't know what that was. But it is a holding call. Unfortunately, it'll go all the way back. A 40-yard run for Jameer Gibbs is brought back, and instead of 1st and 10 in the Dallas territory, it'll be 1st and 20 for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, and again, the guys that made the comment that touchdown drive by Detroit was Dan Campbell football, and they're playing Dan Campbell football right now, and you see the hold there. That, I mean, grab the jersey is pretty much a hold, but I mean, you can't have those penalties. Now it's a tie game. The deeper you get into the game, the more and more those little things are going to come back and bite you.
There's Sam Prince. He's talking to somebody. He's looking excited. Hi, Sam Prince. I forgot to bring you back. So we are at the end of the third quarter. Score tie, 10-10. The Lions will have the ball when we come back. Nicholas Baird, John Grossen, the man that's in the middle of the screen right now, Sam Prince, to take us.
Thank you,
through
guys.
the quarter.
Well, 10-10 Lions score a touchdown. The classic classic Dan Campbell error. You just run it in, classic football, and it's 10-10. Brandon Aubrey scores the field goal. Guys, we got ourselves a ball game. This is a very entertaining game score. It may be low scoring, but who's winning this game? I have the Detroit Lions upsetting the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to stick to my gut and my prediction going into this game. It was the Lions, but Nick, you and John both had the Cowboys. Do you both still have the Cowboys winning this game?
I am going to stick with the Cowboys here because I'm going to give the advantage to the home team, and I'm going to give the advantage to the team that I think has the better quarterback. And I don't think anyone can actually debate that. But yeah, I think
you can't debate that. You can't. That is
no. Come on,
Jared Goff.
I am not taking Jared Goff over Dak Prescott. But anyways, I'm going to stick with the home team. I'm sticking with the home team. That is. Are you good? You want to say something?
I'm good. I'll just let you go. I'm sorry for interrupting. That's my fault.
Okay. No, I'm going to take the home team that's undefeated at home this year with the better quarterback. That's where I'm standing. I'm sticking with the Cowboys.
And do you all stick with the Cowboys, John?
I have to say, my man Nick here, we're on the same wavelength. I almost wish that we disagreed more so we could argue a little bit. Yeah. But I agree with him for the exact same reasons. You have a high-level quarterback in Dak who is unbelievable at home. the pick that he threw earlier today, only the third interception at home that he's thrown all season. And I think the home field advantage is just another aspect, really the icing on the cake for why I think the Cowboys are going to win this game. But it does have to start here. This is a big drive. If Detroit can march downfield, similar to what we saw from them in that third, a long, methodical, physical drive, I think that they really put themselves in the driver's seat.
Does start here for the Lions, but for the Cowboys, the average going to this team 28.5 points per game at home. And Dak Prescott is the best quarterback in the NFL when he plays at home. Yes, I said Dak Prescott plays his best ball and the best quarterback in the National Football League when he plays at AT&T Stadium. And we'll see if he can continue his hot streak at AT&T Stadium at the fourth quarter. I'm Sam Prince alongside Nick Bear and John Gross. And we'll send it to Zeke and Justin Louder for the fourth quarter coverage.
Thank you, Sam. You're the best, bud. And a handoff to the far side to Jahmyr Gibbs goes only about 1 yard forward. And it'll bring up 2nd and 14. Sam, I'm sorry I called you Samuel, even though your name's just Sam. I apologize. I forgot to apologize on air. I just like full names since my name's Ezekiel, is what I go by most of the time. But Zeke's easier for most of the kids at camp, so that's what we do with that. 2nd and 13, 14.5 minutes remaining in this game. Shotgun for Jared Goff from his own 22. Gets the snap, drops back, looking to the left-hand side, throwing real deep, has a man open. It's a catch inside, well inside Detroit or Dallas territory, down to the 15-yard line. Number 9 with a humongous reception. Jameson Williams, the man that was suspended for part of the year, was injured last year, comes up huge with a ginormous gain of 63 yards for the Lions. That's not Dan Campbell football right there, Justin.
It is not, and that is not Dan Quinn defense. I mean, if we're being honest, that was on Deron Bland, who I mentioned in the first half had a big play on him too. Jameson Williams just beat him to the inside and just outran him, and Jared Goff putting it perfectly up and over. I think the Lions must be listening into the broadcast and hearing the John Gross and Nick predictions that still sticking with Dallas, sticking to their guns.
Shotgun this time, a little pitch out to the far side to Gibbs. He's brought down actually in the backfield after a 2-yard loss. And we'll have a Dallas Cowboys player down on the field when we get the number on that one. We'll give it to you. But yeah, humongous play for the Detroit Lions. Going over the top to Jameson Williams. Everybody thought he was the big rookie receiver they're going to have after last year's draft, but missed pretty much all of last year, and then the beginning of this year because of a suspension. Makes maybe the biggest play of the second half so far in this 10-10 game.
Yeah, and just like the penalties, the penalties being a big deal, so were all the big plays, and that was Jordan Lewis there that got injured on the play. But yeah, Jameson Williams, young guy in the league. Again, you already kind of outlined his issues there, but credit to the Lions, for giving him a second chance, giving him a third chance, and seems to be obviously the outside looking in, hasn't made the news, seems to be kind of turning it around and making better choices.
Looks like he actually might have come up with a little bit of injury too. He's trying to run off on the sideline right now to see if he can get back into the game. We have a question. Justin, do you believe either of these two teams can win the NFC and play in the Super Bowl on Instagram? What do you think?
I don't.
Neither do I.
I don't trust the Lions yet in the playoffs. And again, I mean, you could make the same argument for Dallas as well. But again, on the road, I'm going to assume Philly is going to hold on to the division lead.
Shotgun here, throwing to the right side on a quick out for Amon-Ra St. Brown, who makes about a 5-yard gain, and he'll set up third and about 5 yards for the Detroit Lions. It is 3rd and 5 inside the red zone. The Lions are tied 10-10 with the Cowboys. It'll be 3rd and 3, actually. 12:35 coming off the clock in the fourth quarter. Goff in the shotgun. Big 3rd and 3. He's all by himself in the backfield. Drops back, looks to the right-hand side. A similar route that Amon-Ra ran, but this time it's Jahmyr Gibbs, and it's incomplete. So they went for it before on 4th down in the red zone. We'll see if they decide to do it here. 4th and 3 with 12:21 remaining. The offensive line seems to be staying on the field. We know Dan Campbell likes to go for it, and he's going to do it here. 12:21 remaining. 4th and 3 inside the red zone for a chip shot field goal to make Joe Torre score, correct? To give them the lead. I don't know. I mean, if you get a lead, you have a lead. Maybe because his defense has played so well today. But under center goes Jared Goff. In motion is Amon-Ra St. Brown to the far side. Now he just takes the delay game penalty, so maybe they're not going to go for it, and they are going to take the lead.
I'm sure they get the free
what's
first
up,
down.
Nick? What's up, Zeke? Ryan, Marlins HQ. Oh, this is probably Ryan Schlesinger. Sorry. Yep, it's Ryan, your favorite camper. Yep, Ryan, you are my favorite camper. So yeah, they're going to take the delay of game penalty, take the 5 yards, kick the field goal, and try to get the lead here to make it 13-10 game for the Lions.
I hope Joe Torre's still in here, because if this happens to be 13-10 by the end of it, that heck of a call by Torre on that.
Michael Badgley has the kick up, and it's right down the middle. Obviously, a chip shot from only 30 yards out from the right hash, and it is 13-10. The Detroit Lions in Dallas with 12:18 remaining in the 4th quarter. So Aaron is we're gonna go back to Aaron. I just got to get to the correct screen here. There we go. And Aaron has a report for us just into the 4th quarter.
So before the field goal was just made, I was gonna say shout out to Joe, because I think that's looking like how the score is gonna look right now. But I think the Lions are definitely starting to do their thing, starting to come back a little bit, kind of get a feel of how they should be playing. We'll definitely see for the rest of the quarter. Hopefully the Lions can, keep it up.
Aaron, as real quick, I just want to we'll talk to Aaron a little bit here while we are on the commercial break. As you and Joe would say, Joe with a him prediction.
He is him. Shout out
him.
to Joe Torre. He is him. He texted me during the game. He's like, 5-star recruit. For those of you who understand.
Yes, Joe's, like we said, we had a fun time with Joe this summer as well. And Aaron and him were talking about everyone being him and Himothy University, and every him pun you could possibly think of this summer came out of either Aaron or Joe's mouth.
Shout out to the Hims in Boston, if y'all are watching.
Shout out to the Hims, but more importantly, shout out to the elite, the champions of rug wearing ball.
We'll be back next year, though. We'll be back next year.
The Hims will be back, and as Joe Torre is still watching, Joe has, as he says, I've been him the whole time, and I think we all agree with that.
Hims of New Jersey.
Yes, of course. Sounds good. Thank you, Aaron, for your report.
Of course.
All right. So yes, we had obviously have a blast. Even if you're not a camper, you still have fun at camp. I know Justin and I had a blast in Washington together. Hopefully we'll see Justin in maybe a city or more this summer. Bring the family along with us. We'll have a fun vacation wherever Justin winds up. Sounds good to me. Or if he just wants to come by himself, whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, the kids probably won't travel.
I know. I just don't know. I feel for your wife having to take care of her kids for a whole nother week. But I guess that's part of life. All right.
I think she's planning on coming, actually.
Oh, is she? So who?
Yeah,
so
not the camp. Yeah, my parents, in-laws, whoever.
Sounds good. Then I'll show
not
you both.
Us.
I'll show you. Yeah, I'll show you both around Philadelphia. That sounds amazing.
Perfect.
So Williams, after that humongous catch, is headed to the locker room. So see if Aaron can get some information on that. After his biggest play of his Lions career, immediately he'll head to the locker room afterwards. The kickoff by the Lions is in and out of the back of the end zone. So the Dallas Cowboys will start from their own 25, down 3, with plenty of time remaining. Over 10 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter. It has been an amazingly entertaining game between the two of the top teams in the NFC, but we only have 23 points to show for it. Whoever bet the under is probably looking pretty good right now. Dak Prescott under center, drops back, play action fake, hits his man CeeDee Lamb on the far side, bounds his way past the first down, an 11-yard gain for CeeDee Lamb. And I believe that will get him the record. So in this game, CeeDee Lamb has set the record for most receptions in a season by a Dallas Cowboy, and now he has the most yards in a single season by a Dallas Cowboy. Had a phenomenal year. Michael Irvin in attendance in Dallas. Just saw both his records disappear, but as Johnny Manziel so eloquently put it this week, records are meant to be broken. So Dak this time is in a shotgun at his own 36-yard line, 1st and 10. 11:40 coming off the clock. Drops back quickly, looking to Lamb again. Caught for 5 yards and then brought down. He'll make it to the 41-yard line to set up a 2nd and 4. So he's just adding to his record and is 6 yards away from that 200-yard mark we were talking about.
Yep, I was just going to say he has now set a season high, breaking, we mentioned it before, the 191 yards he had against Philadelphia earlier in the season. So he's already won past that.
Yeah, the Eagles didn't do so well in that game. All right. But Dak's going to go back under center here with Pollard as the lone back. Hands off to him on the right-hand side of the line. The Detroit Lions defense gobbles him up right at the line of scrimmage, so it'll set up 3rd and 4.
Yep, they're gonna have to air it out here on 3rd down, probably obvious, but Detroit's front, really their defensive line, but their front 7 here is really held Pollard in check. Again, 2.8 yards per carry, not a great average. And again, this 3rd and medium, it's kind of been 50-50, it seemed like, for this game for the Cowboys here in their success rate.
Well, this time it's a shotgun for Dak. He drops back immediately, looking to the right side of the field, looking for Brandon Cooks, and what a throw by Dak. Did he get his feet down? They say he does. Brandon Cooks seems to make a big catch at least once a game on those over-the-shoulder throws, and he does so just there to get a 1st down for the Cowboys.
Yeah, that was, giving Jared Goff a couple props for perfectly placing that pass. That was in the face of pressure for Prescott. Quick play here.
Yeah, quick play that I think was a broken play that Dak Prescott gained 7 yards on. He fakes the handoff, but I think he was supposed to hand it off, and then he turned it into a quarterback draw up the middle and gained 6 yards to set up 2nd and 4. But Brandon Cooks, like you said, a great catch, toe tapping the sideline to get the 1st down into Detroit territory for the Cowboys. And I'll set up a 2nd and 4 after the Dak scramble up the middle with 9:30 coming off the clock. Cowboys down 3. They're in field goal territory at the Detroit 33. Under center, Dak goes again on the 2nd and 5. Dropping back. He's under pressure. Hutchinson gets him to throw it away, but it is complete. And a 1st down to the 24-yard line. The Cowboys reception that time made by number 18, Jalen Tolbert, to move the chains for the Cowboys with 9 minutes coming off the clock. They move further into Detroit territory.
As we get closer to postseason football, it's always these, the CeeDee Lambs, the Amon-Ra St. Browns, but it's kind of these role players that can really come through in big moments. And Tolbert did that there.
1st and 10 from the 24. Hand off to Pollard up the middle. He bullies his way forward for a 1st down and a yard additional to the 13. An 11-yard gain up the middle. He got hit 4 or 5 times on that run, Justin.
Oh, yeah, and he just kept plowing forward. I mean, I should have only gained probably about 4 or 5, which would have been a decent run. But, getting it inside the 15 and kind of like Detroit, again, even though it was tied, it kind of felt like they needed to punch it into the end zone so they can give themselves a little bit of a cushion. Dallas to take the lead here halfway through the 4th quarter would be huge.
Big set this time for Dallas on 1st down with the lone back is Pollard. He's up the middle again. This time he breaks the left, waited for a hole, was patient, gets 5, 6, 7 yards pushing forward. They'll give him 6. So to be 2nd and 4, he was very patient on that run and then found the hole on the left-hand side. Tony Pollard now with 50 yards on the ground for the day.
Yeah, and, the couple times that the Lions really haven't been good in this run protection is potentially going to cost them some points. You would imagine at least 3 here. Cowboys fans want to
I think
see
we're all going to be
7.
disappointed with that because we wanted Joe Torre to be correct.
Yeah,
Shotgun
I did.
for Dak Prescott. 3 wide receivers as well as his tight end are going into routes. Thrown to the near side. It's Brandon Cooks. Touchdown. Cowboys will take the lead 16-13. Brandon Cooks, 2 huge catches on that drive, including the touchdown.
Oregon State, baby. Oregon State.
Oregon
I'm
people.
not a Beaver fan, but look at them. I mean, big time plays. We talked about, we mentioned a couple times before, Brandon Cooks really inconsistent this year. If they can get Cooks going in the passing game, forget about the other games this season going forward. That's going to be huge if you can have, 1 or 2 tight ends. You have CeeDee Lamb, obviously, and you have Brandon Cooks. That's going to make the pass game a little bit more lethal.
Aubrey puts the kick home to make it 17-13. Dallas Cowboys here in the fourth quarter. What has been a very entertaining game. We will have just under 10 minutes remaining of hopefully what is even more entertaining games. Let's go full screen here. Let's see how many people I can get in the screen. Yeah, we'll go full screen real quick. John Gross is running back this computer I see in the – there we go. We'll go full 5 screen. How are we feeling about this game so far, guys? The offenses have woke up here a little bit in the second half and have completed drives. Sam, how are you feeling so far about your Detroit prediction?
We're feeling pretty good. I still think Detroit's going to win this game. I just want a moment of silence to rip Joe Torre's prediction, the 13-10 prediction we all thought was going to come true. He would have been him tonight, but Joe, you're still him in case you're watching in the comments.
Aaron, we never got your prediction. Did you have, or did I miss it? Who did you have predicted in this game?
So I had the Lions. I got the lights on in the back, kind of like hitting it a little bit. I think I've been saying it kind of throughout the broadcast, Lions. But
I say you keep on leaning that you think the Lions are going to do better, do this, do that. I didn't know if you're actually going to pick them to win. Awesome. John Gross and Nicholas Spare, obviously your prediction looks a little better after that touchdown. How are you feeling? Go to John first since he ran back to his computer so eloquently. You're muted, John. See, he ran back so fast he forgot to hit the unmute button.
There we go. I got a little bit of a workout in going back to my computer, but I'm still pretty confident in my pick. Now it's up to the Dallas defense. If the Cowboys can get a stop here and then score another touchdown, this ball game is over.
Nicholas Bear, was that more of the Detroit defense that you've been talking about on that last drive?
Well, I actually think what I saw there, Dallas finally got their run game going a bit, and I think that opened up the pass a lot for them, as we saw in those 2 big plays to Brandon Cooks. But I still feel confident about my pick, and the reason being is because it's not the playoffs, so we're watching the Cowboys in the regular season. I believe in the Cowboys come the regular season.
Understandable. So, Sam Prince, what's your nightmare scenario of the NFC playoffs?
My nightmare prediction, my nightmare in the NFC playoffs would be Cowboys versus Eagles NFC Championship game. I don't know what's worse, the Cowboys winning and going to the Super Bowl or the Eagles going to the Super Bowl and winning the NFC. I have to go with the Eagles being worse because I just cannot stand Philly fans.
Well, you'd have to go back to Rowan. If the Eagles make the Super Bowl, I'm supposed to go to a friend's party. But if they make the Super Bowl, I might have to come watch it with Sam just to give him a big hug during the game.
Well, you know what? No. You could have came last year. We had a whole party. We sung Chiefs Kingdom songs at the end. Oh, I brought my Patrick Mahomes shirt. It was a great time. And the next day, you know what I did? I wore to class. I wore a Chiefs Patrick Mahomes shirt.
With that note, see you later, Sam, John Gross, Aaron, and Nicholas. Thank you, guys. We'll go back to the game action. I think the Chiefs are now my second least favorite team because I'm just tired of seeing the commercials all the time. Patrick Mahomes, Jason Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Jason Kelce. Constant commercials now.
You mean Travis Maotto?
Yeah, Travis Maotto was just on that commercial break.
That's fun. Yeah. They're struggling. They gotta. It makes it kind of nice when it's been so easy or seems so easy, and then you see a little bit of difficulty, obstacle happening, and Kelce threw his helmet last week during the game, and it's good to see you go through a little difficult times.
Fake handoff here on first down, rolling to the right, has the tight end in the flap, but it is number 82 for the Detroit Lions. They'll give a 4-yard gain. James Mitchell, the third string tight end with that reception.
Yeah, he had a false start earlier in the first half, and that was he had the holding that brought back the big Jahmyr Gibbs run. That's what happened.
Yeah, last drive for the Lions.
Yep.
Under center goes Goff on this 2nd and 6. 6:49 coming off the clock. Handoff up the middle to Montgomery. Micah Parsons has him and only allow him to gain a yard to the 30. So it'll set up 3rd and 5 with 6:40 coming off the clock. 17-13 Cowboys. And looking to hold on to another home win. Their last home win wasn't very comfortable either. 3 weeks back against now I can't remember who they barely beat 3 weeks back. No, I can't remember. We'll figure it out in 2 seconds.
That was the last home game was the Eagles by 20, and then it was Seattle on a Thursday.
Oh, Seattle's the team I was thinking about. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So it's a big 3rd and 5. Jahmyr Gibbs in motion into the slot. Shotgun. Dropping back off with time. Now he's under pressure. Thrown as he's hit, and it's incomplete. There are no flags down. Amon-Ra 1-1. But Micah Parsons actually was Lawrence with a hit on Jared Goff as he threw right on the throwing arm, and it'll force a huge punt. The defense of the Cowboys coming up absolutely monstrous on this drive.
Kind of surprised we didn't see any David Montgomery. I mean, Gibbs has been running a little bit better in the second half than in the first half, but both Montgomery and Gibbs have been really effective, and Montgomery kind of seemed to be the one that's been a little more consistent. I'm kind of surprised he wasn't out there on a pretty pivotal drive.
Fox will punt this one away to Turpin. He's hit some boomers tonight, and Turpin has this one at the 25. Fair count at the 26, actually. And that's where Dak could start a game-sealing drive with 5:52 remaining in the game, up 4 points against the Detroit Lions. Let's go to the Instagram comments. Go Cowboys by Aaron. Aaron is from Los Angeles and is a Cowboys fan.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess LA really didn't have any teams since he's been alive until the last 2 years, so I guess I can kind of accept that, Aaron. Alex says, hey, Zeke, Dak does not deserve the tomfoolery of a team that Dallas Cowboys are. I'm a Chiefs fan, and I realize that. I guess so, but Dak's tomfoolery sometimes is equal to his team, but maybe that's just because of the team he's on. We have 2 comments on YouTube I really want to go here. Jesse, I appreciate you thinking I'm the GOAT. That's good. And Joe Torty update, I am no longer him. Joe Torty, you are still him. It's just not sure you're at picking games anymore. But you looked good for a second there, but the Detroit defense has been shredded a little bit here in the second half by the Cowboys with 2 scoring drives, 1 field goal, 1 touchdown. What do you think about this game-sealing drive? Do you think the Cowboys can do it again, Justin?
I mean, it certainly looked like on that last drive they're kind of set up to do it again. Again, I think the key is just getting Pollard the room and that offensive line getting the push to be successful. Because I don't remember if it was Nick or if it was John that said it during the last break, but the Pollard success on the ground has really been able to open up that mid-range to long-range passing game for the Cowboys. And so, I'm kind of hoping just for our purposes, the Lions bend but don't break and kick a field goal. Then I'm hoping to see a little overtime football tonight. Let's get a game-tying drive by
Can you tell the person that lives on the West Coast as opposed to the East Coast? Because the East Coast guy says, it's 11 o'clock, Justin. I kind of want to go to bed. But you're sitting back.
7:49 p.m.
You're sitting back,
the kids
relaxing.
are going to be in bed. It's
all good things for him.
Yep.
Understandable. I mean, I want an exciting finish. So a Dallas ceiling drive here would kind of damper that possibility. So I'd be cool with an exciting finish. If it's overtime, it's overtime. But we are sitting here 17-13, 5:52 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Dallas Cowboys up by 4 over the Detroit Lions. They have the ball at their own 25. They hand it off to Tony Pollard, and as many times as night, he's met right at the line, but this time they're able to gobble them up and not let them go past it. So it'll set up 2nd and 10 for the Cowboys.
Yeah, and that was Alex Anzalone again. Mentioned his name a few times. Yeah, just right there in the backfield. And if I don't really have a lot of confidence in the Cowboys offense if Pollard doesn't have any success here. We'll see if they go to him again here on 2nd down or if they decide to let Prescott air it out.
Well, Prescott is in the shotgun with 3 wide receivers. Now he sends CeeDee Lamb into motion into the slot. Play action fake. Looking deep on the right-hand side, probably for Cooks again. There's a flag. The ball was in the picture, there was no one anywhere near the pass. So you wonder if it was holding, because I don't think it would be pass interference because that ball wasn't even close.
Yeah, illegal contact. Yeah.
Illegal contact. So it wasn't pass interference. It was contact past the 5 yards by Kendall Vildor on number 13 for the Cowboys. That's Michael Gallup, who we haven't said his name at all tonight.
No, I think he might have 1 catch, but it was a pretty short one if it was him. But yeah, that ball landed 20 yards. That wasn't even close. I think he was expecting him to keep going, and Gallup, maybe he was being held
Gallup
up too much.
has 0 catches tonight,
Okay.
So we have not said his name. CeeDee Lamb has 11. 1st and 10 from the 31-yard line is handed and nowhere to go for Tony Pollard on that play. I must say there's 2 things I want to say here. One, if you follow us on YouTube or if you follow us on Instagram on Play-by-Play Camps, also jump over the Student Sports Network Instagram once you're off the live. Follow us there. We're going to be posting a lot more there in the upcoming weeks. And 2, the hardest thing about broadcasting after a while is getting people's names quickly correct after having not as much time to prep as I was hoping as this came together in the last couple of days for sure. So I will say trying to get people's names this quick is not the easiest. I don't know how hockey announcers do it. Dak now with a lot of time dumps it off over the middle. It's incomplete to Tony Pollard. He had all day to throw, but good coverage in the secondary for the Lions.
Yep, Alex Anzalone again. He's been calling his name quite a bit, and that's the key. He's been the key on this defensive drive here for the Lions and putting the Cowboys in a 3rd and 10 situation. So, I was kind of hinting at maybe some overtime here, but this Detroit defense, coming through when they need to. They just need one more play here to force a punt and then put their offense back out on the field.
Obviously, the fans in Michigan are hoping they get it as Dak is in the shotgun with 3 wide receivers to his left, throwing, and his CeeDee Lamb doesn't need any help of a cornerback falling down. He gets it here, and he gets a 1st down. CeeDee Lamb out to midfield and a yard or 2 more. His cornerback fell down in coverage, and he was wide open. Cameron Sutton couldn't stay on his feet.
Nope, and that catch does give CeeDee Lamb finally his 200-yard game. He was only 6 yards short before that play, so he's well over 200 now. But yeah, I think that's 12 catches for probably about 215 yards.
216, you were 1 yard off.
216.
You're not a math teacher. It's okay.
That's right. It's Christmas break.
Yeah. But a killer. That was not very good coverage on that one, but a heck, CeeDee Lamb, who gets CeeDee Lamb now on the end around here, gets 4 or 5 yards forward, brought down by the man we said his name all night long, Anzalone, after 5 yards. So, yeah.
Well, you mentioned fantasy football and CeeDee Lamb, and I'm in one championship in a league, and I'm going up against CeeDee Lamb. So we have kind of a Mount Everest hill to climb here to get that. And he has Dak Prescott, too, who's got over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. So it's not looking good.
I'm sorry, Justin. I had Nick Chubb in both my leagues this year, so I fell 1 game short of the playoffs in both of them, so that was a moral victory after Nick Chubb getting hurt. Dak drops back on this play. Play action fake on 2nd and 5, and nothing there. Throws it just out of bounds over the head of Jake Ferguson. And 2:45 remaining on the clock. 3rd and 5 for the Cowboys. If the Lions want any chance in this game, they probably need a stop on this one right here. And we'll see if they can get that. Tony Pollard comes back into the game. Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, all in the formation or in the huddle. So the Cowboys obviously probably going to pass the ball here. I don't even see Jake Ferguson out there. The tight end actually is out there. He will set up wide on the near side.
Oh, yeah.
Dak
Alex
is in the
Anzalone on
shotgun.
him.
Anzalone's done a good job in coverage all day. We'll see if he can do one here. Dak looking to the far side. Now he comes back, and he's immediately met in the backfield. A sack right at midfield and a fumble, but I wonder if the ball he was down either way. It's recovered by the Cowboys. Aiden Hutchinson showing up huge. He's had a good year, not as maybe good as last year, but he has showed up huge tonight. His second sack of the night.
Yeah, and he's the star. He's the defensive playmaker, and that was just a simple spin move on the Cowboys' right tackle. I didn't catch a steal there. But yeah, that is exactly what Detroit's defense needed, and that's the field goal would have been pretty long from where they were, but that's out of the question now. So they're gonna have to punt.
This is Jake Elliott and Justin Tucker range. That's about it, but not even, because this would be a solid 68-yard field goal. 14-13 with 2:40 remaining. They will have to punt the ball. Aiden Hutchinson, 5 tackles, all for a loss, 3 sacks, all tie career highs. He has showed up huge, and if the Lions win this game, he might be player of the game. If the Cowboys win it out, we know who's player of the game tonight for the Cowboys, because he's player of the game almost every night for the Cowboys when they win. That's CeeDee Lamb. ESPN right now giving the probability of winning 79.7% to the Cowboys. We'll bring our studio team back on next commercials, but it will be a punt here for the Cowboys. Up in the air. Fair caught at the 11-yard line. The Cowboys gunner just getting out of the way of the reception. And I believe, let's make sure they go to commercials real quick before we go back to Sam, Nicholas, and John. Maybe they're not going to go back to commercials. They're not going to go back to commercials. So Nicholas, John, and Sam, we'll see if we go back to you guys hopefully soon. But this game obviously big for the NFC playoff picture. Justin, the Lions currently the 3 seed, but if they were to win out because of common opponents, they would actually jump the Eagles for the 2 seed. And the Cowboys are currently the 4 seed, the highest wild card. I think they're kind of secure in that spot as they're 2 games ahead of any other wild card team. So at the 11-yard line, Jared Goff will start at a very important drive. He will be in the shotgun, fakes the handoff, throws over the middle. It is complete to Laporta, who breaks the tackle. Well, almost does. Then he's brought down by shoestrings, but it's a first down out to the 30 or the 26-yard line, a 17-yard gain for Sam Laporta just up the seam.
Yeah, and that was just, there wasn't a whole lot of separation there, but he certainly got enough to make that catch.
This time to Sam Laporta. Is it picked off and intercepted? That might be a game-sealing interception. Jared Goff throws it to the near side, trying to get to Sam Laporta again, and it is intercepted by number 16 on the play. Or is that number 26? Is that Deron Bland again?
No, I think it was number 6.
Oh, number 6, Donovan Wilson on the interception. We'll see if he has it here. They'll have the replay. He dives, has the ball in his hands. Donovan Wilson might have just sealed the game with an interception. Well,
certainly a catch. Yep. And he was the one
disappointing for the exciting ending part of it.
There's still a chance the Lions have 2 timeouts. They're going to have the 2-minute warning as a timeout as well.
Obviously, have to limit the Cowboys to another Aubrey field goal.
Yep. And then they'll have to have no timeouts on the next drive. So, again, not looking likely. I bet that 79.7 is probably jumped up now to about 90, maybe above that.
And on the first play, there's a holding flag on the Dallas Cowboys on a run to the far side by Tony Pollard. So that'll push them back 10 yards. But it's jumped up to 96.2%. On that one.
It's kind of interesting.
Oh, actually, it's going to be a tripping call on Peyton Hendershot. And that's a 15-yard penalty, so it'll be repeat first down. But it does bring them the 2-minute warning. We'll head back to our crew, and then we'll come back to us, Justin.
I'm Sam Prince alongside Nick Bear and John Gross, and we're less than 2 minutes into this 2-minute warning, and 2-minute warning has passed. Jared Goff got a chance to have a 2-minute drive with 2 minutes and 33 seconds to win the Lions the game, potentially get the 2 seed, but he picks it off by Howell. And guys, is this game Goff's fault at the end of the day? Because that was not a good pass. Looking back at it, you probably wouldn't have that pass, but you just all these mistakes by the Lions, you could almost go back into this game and say, maybe we should maybe gone for the end, but we'll see what happened in the rest of the game. And Nick, you were doubting this Lions defense, but they're actually the ones that keep beating the Lions in this game and not their rushing attack.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. I mean, I still stand by pretty much what I said. I don't think it's a good defense at all. But at the end of the day, what that drive came down to, and Detroit still has a chance to win if they hold the Cowboys to a field goal. Jared Goff in a drop back situation is one of the worst quarterbacks in this league. And this is exactly why I'm never going to take him over someone like Dak Prescott, even though you tried to bring that up earlier. But I've seen it time and time again. When you have a good pass rush against Jared Goff, this guy is going to fall, just break into shambles. I mean, he's not a quarterback in the NFL when he's a drop back quarterback. He's just not. You're on mute.
My bad, I was muted. A little tech failure right there. But guys, Jared Goff's not the best drop back quarterback in the NFL, probably one of the worst in the league. But John, if we're talking about this Lions failures, let's give a little love to CeeDee Lamb. 12 receptions on the night. If you haven't been in a fantasy league, you're in the championship, well, kudos to you. He probably just won you your league.
Absolutely. And personally, I don't play fantasy, so I don't have a team. But if I did, I wish I had CeeDee Lamb on my squad. That is for sure. He's been tremendous. And honestly, he's probably been the difference maker in this game because he is that game-changing type of player. We saw the 92-yard touchdown earlier, which was a bit of a fluke play. But beyond that, he has just been Johnny on the spot every single time.
Yes, but Johnny on the spot. And we're going to send him back to the booth for the final 2 minutes of the game between the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys. We'll send it back to Zeke and Justin Louder.
Well, he had another reception by guess who? CeeDee Lamb, while Sam was finishing that up on a quick in route. He's just breaking ankles every single time he runs a route. Another 6-7 yard reception by him will move the Cowboys into a possible second and manageable now. 2nd and 14. I guess it's not that manageable, but at least it's better than where they were because it was a 15-yard penalty. They had 1st and 25. So a 9-yard reception by CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's had a heck of a game. Amon-Ra St. Brown only has 4 receptions today.
Been super quiet.
Jared Goff obviously was not the night he wanted to. 14 for 25, 196, and now has 2 picks. Both of them were read well and undercut by the cornerbacks. Dak's going to be in the shotgun. He's going to throw it deep over the top. No one's there. In fact, it was caught out of bounds by the Detroit secondary member Vildor. But there wasn't a Cowboy within 20 yards. I don't know what happened there, but it's a broken play. 3rd and 14. So this Detroit defense, Nicholas Bear's favorite unit in the NFL, having a chance to hopefully keep them in the game again.
Again, why?
Why throw the ball?
Why the play call? In fact, I was going to mention this before, that the penalty on 1st down actually hurt the Lions because that took the 2-minute warning away as a timeout. So they only have 1, but now they don't have to use it.
Run the ball again. Make them kick a 50-yard field goal. Instead, they throw it. It is caught over the middle by the tight end. Wow, I'm just losing my mind right now because I'm so confused by the call. Jake Ferguson. I'm just confused by the Cowboys' call on that to not just run more time off the clock. Now the Lions call timeout, 1:45 remaining. Are the Cowboys going to go for it here?
No way. There's no way.
Are they going to run a play? Brandon Cooks is staying. No, they're not going to run a play to just try to run more time off the clock, right?
No, and a delay of game doesn't give them a 1st down. Or I'm sorry, an offsides penalty doesn't give them a 1st down if they try to hard count. But the offense is huddling. So
you have a kicker that's been perfect all year. You can put a team up 7 with no timeouts. Instead, it's 1:45 on the clock. Dak has 4 wide and Ferguson on the near side.
They may try to just get 5 yards on an offsides and call a timeout, maybe.
I don't know what's going on. 6 on the play clock. 5, 4, 3, hard count. Yep. All right. So they're just going to call a timeout. But what's the point of that? Like you said, you can't get the first down, and you're not the tush-push Eagles who on 4th and 1 are automatically going to go for it. So it'll be 4th and 6. The Cowboys call timeout. Brandon Aubrey, who we said earlier today, is perfect. 34 for 34. This season, the rookie, remember the Cowboys have had kicking issues in the past, and they had a kicker miss 3 extra points in one game a couple years ago. Now, Brandon Aubrey has missed 3 extra points this season, but he's perfect field goal, 34 for 34. He'll have this one to put the Cowboys up an even 7. Only in football is 7 an even number. But that would be a touchdown and a field goal, and they'll kick the ball back to Detroit with just over 140 remaining once this ball goes through the uprights probably. He'll be from the right hash, 43-yard attempt. The snap is down, the kick is up, and it is so easily through the middle of the uprights. 20-13, the Cowboys with a 7-point lead with 141 remaining in the game. They'll kick it off and see if Jared Goff, wow, I'm rhyming tonight, can lead a game-tying drive for the Detroit Lions to give them hope to hold on to the number 2 seed in the NFC.
Again, that's what I wanted to see, a chance for a game-tying drive. But, man, Jared Goff is just, I mean, you talk about, and it's true. I mean, look, I think there was one exception this year in a road game where Jared Goff had a really good statistical game, but you can almost predict home and road, and Goff just struggles away from home.
It makes sense, I guess, because of noise, but it makes zero sense to me because they're inside, just like they would be at Ford Field, or just like Jared Goff would have had fantastic weather when he played in Los Angeles, and he played at California. So this makes no sense. If he's on the road in miserable weather in Green Bay or Philadelphia or New York, okay, that makes sense. You're on turf field in a perfect dome. I will give one thing: I'm not a Cowboys fan, as we've discussed, but it's a beautiful stadium. But I'm sure it gets loud down there in Texas. But you have no one to blame but yourself, or I guess the psyche of Jared Goff, for not being able to produce on the road inside. 20-13, I think the under hit a while ago. 141 remaining is, like we said, we'll have to go 75 yards for the tie. Jared Goff and the Lions have no timeouts, and Micah Parsons in this Cowboys defense will look to stop them here and give them still hope to win the NFC East if the Eagles trip up in the last 2 weeks. Goff will be in the shotgun with 3 wide receivers and Laporta to the near side. Dropping back, has time, throws to the middle of Laporta. He's going to get close to the first down to the 35, and that's it. Met by Curse right there. Curse and Wilson combine for the tackle. Quickly to the line. The Lions will have to go. We might not hear from Justin very much on this last drive if the Lions know what the heck they're doing. He again is in shotgun with 3 receivers and Laporta. Dropping back. Goff has time. Throws over the middle. And is caught by Laporta into Cowboys territory to the 40-yard line. So we might have excitement here at the end of the game. As they rush to the line, you wonder if they'll spike it with 1:06 on the clock. 1:05 it is. Jared Goff under center, spiking the ball just in front of a minute. And we'll give a chance for Justin to talk back-to-back Laporta receptions and a chance for the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, you watch the whole game. Goff has had moments where it's been really bad, but he's had moments where he's hit receivers. But it's kind of weird, like, you have these quarterbacks that can just lock in. 2-minute drive, no timeouts.
It was a great throw over the linebacker. It might have been a safety, dropped in the box, dotted to Sam Laporta, who's in the slot on the near side again. Dropping back off out of the shotgun, throws it. Plenty of time. It is caught to the 25-yard line. Amon-Ra St. Brown. The Cowboys defense looks flat-footed on this drive. Now quickly the line spikes it again. So 48 seconds on the clock at the 26-yard line. They spike it. It'll be 2nd and 10. But the downs really don't matter with the time that's on the clock and where they need to get to. Amon-Ra St. Brown, like we said, he hasn't had a great game. So this is a good reception.
Picture this. There's 6 seconds on the clock. That's what would have happened if the Cowboys would have not thrown that out of bounds play. They would have had less than 10 seconds.
I don't understand how these people get to the NFL and they make these decisions, Justin.
This is a Mike McCarthy thing. He has a history of this. He did that in Green Bay. I don't understand it.
So 2nd and 10, shotgun from the 26, dropping back. They bring the blitz, but Goff has time. He throws a duck that is in and out of the hands of Amon-Ra St. Brown, but it was good coverage that time on the reception. And it'll bring up 3rd and 10, the coverage made by Donnan and Wilson up the seam. We'll see if there was a little contact early. Oh, that's definite. Oh, my Lord. How is that not pass interference? But unfortunately, it was not called for the Detroit Lions' sake. That was at least illegal contact and then a pass interference, but not called. 3rd and 10, shotgun. Laporta has a little bit of motion on the near side. 3 wide receivers. Gibbs in the backfield. Dropping back. Goff throwing. Has time. It's Laporta again. He has a first down inside the 15 to the 12. He's still on his feet now. He falls to the 10. 35 seconds on the clock. They need to get there to clock it. 32, 31. The snap will get to Goff with 27 seconds as he spikes it at the 11. They're 11 yards away from a possible tie game. And Justin and Nicholas enjoying overtime while the rest of us just want to go to sleep. But at least we have an exciting finish here on the Student Sports Network and play-by-play.
Yeah, and in our defense, I mean, you picked 2 good games. I mean, the Seattle-Philadelphia one was a great game, a little more offense. No, I don't think that was a great
game, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, okay. Yeah, I get that. But, yeah, I mean, again, like I said, you watch the Detroit offense kind of sputter for a majority of the second half, and, 8 plays, 64 yards right now, looking to punch it in here to potentially.
And now a shotgun to Amon-Ra St. Brown diving toward the end zone. Touchdown! We are an extra point away from a tied football game on Saturday night on the Play-by-Play Student Sports Network. Wide open on a quick out to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he makes the move upfield, gets in the end zone. 9 plays, 75 yards in my favorite time, 1 minute, 18 seconds, because my birthday coming up in a few weeks, 1:18. A minute, 18 seconds is all they needed. Amon-Ra St. Brown, we said he was quiet compared to CeeDee Lamb, but makes the biggest play of the game to tie. To get us to a possible tie. And you got to be kidding me. They're going for 2. All right, so let's get even more exciting. 2-point attempt. Under center, Jared Goff. Laporta in motion. Now comes back to the near side. Do they see what they like? They do. And timeout, Dallas.
That's a good.
Wow, my wife's trying to sleep right now. I really hope that she could still sleep through me yelling on that last play. I mean, I didn't yell. As I tell the broadcasters that I teach at broadcast camp, you don't yell. You project your voice. You get excited. So I don't think I yelled on that last play. But so are they going to go for 2 here, Justin? I don't know. 23 seconds left on the clock. Obviously, that's not a flight. But are they actually going to go for 2?
Well, the old adage is you go for 2 when you're on the road. If you're at home, you go for the tie. If you're on the road, so
they're definitely going for it because the 2-point attempt logo is still up on the screen here.
If you go for it on 4th down as much as they do, I mean, you only need 2 yards. So
the setup they had on that play, Laporta was going to be wide open, and I think the Cowboys called timeout just in time. Otherwise, Laporta was walking into the end zone with a touchdown. Now him and Montgomery are in motion. Montgomery into the backfield. He's a lone back, big set. Hand off to Montgomery. No, it's a play action fake. Throwing over the top. It's caught by 68. Who the heck is that? A touchdown by an offensive lineman to probably win the game. Who is 68? I have no idea. Taylor Decker. Usually when you say an offensive lineman's name on the call, it's for a holding, but Taylor Decker with a game-winning 2-point conversion for the Detroit Lions. Who thought I was going to say that tonight?
And he's listed on the roster, Taylor Decker, there's a flag.
There's a flag, but I'm assuming from Jared Goff's reaction, I'm assuming it's not on them. At least I hope not, because that was such an exciting way to end a game. Don't screw it up, referees.
Well, and like I was saying, Taylor Decker's listed on the roster at 6'7", 318.
Well, it doesn't matter because he apparently did not report eligible.
Wow.
Taylor Decker did not report eligible.
Wow. You have to kick the extra point now, I think.
And now you have to go for the extra point because it would be
Man, that's
a 2-point conversion from
basically
the 7-yard line. That is such a killer. All he has to do is go to the referee and say, hey, guys, I'm going to catch a football in this play. And he didn't do it, I guess.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Lions are furious. They don't understand how it wasn't reported eligible.
Yeah, Dan Campbell
calls
livid.
A perfect play. No one sees it coming. The big boy catches the ball. My most exciting call I'm ever going to make on this network, possibly, just ruined. They're going for it from the 7-yard line for a 2-point conversion instead of just kicking the extra point. Here we go again.
Wow.
I don't think this is a good call, but we're going to go with it. Jared Goff's going to be in the shotgun. He's 2 receivers to the near side. Laporte to the far side along with Amon-Ra St. Brown. There might have been a jump on it. There is a free play for the Lions. It's intercepted, but it won't matter. It was offsides on the left end on the Dallas Cowboys. We'll do it all over from the 2-yard line. A third 2-point conversion attempt. This is an unbelievable ending to this game. Micah Parsons might have jumped. Yep, it was Micah Parsons, the all-world defensive end, jumped right before the snap, and will have a third 2-point conversion attempt, this time from the 2-yard line. Throw it to the big boy again. Maybe he'll remember to tell the referee this time.
And, man, they timed the snap just as he landed right on the line of scrimmage. That is – you watch sports long enough, there's not a lot of things – that you can say you've never seen before. I have never seen this before. Never seen this before.
3.5-yard line, dropping back, Goff to the near side, throws, has his man, it's incomplete. After all that, it's incomplete. Not caught, and that'll end the game right there.
That is...
The Dallas Cowboys are going to get the win. 20-19. What an unbelievable ending.
That's absolutely nuts.
That's heartbreaking, obviously. James Mitchell is wide open. All he has to do is get the catch, but it was thrown underneath him and incomplete.
And again, he's falling to the turf. He wouldn't have made it anyway. I mean, that was just too low. It
was underthrown.
Yeah.
After an exciting play to way to end the game. Oh my gosh, what an ending. Let's bring on everybody here. So we were excited for a second, and then we were not excited for a second, and then we were excited for a second, and then we're not excited for a second. I can't believe just telling the referee that you might catch a football is what brought us to the end of this game. What do you go to Sam real quick? Sam, what do you how are you feeling?
Taylor Decker, you would have had the play of the year for Detroit, but you're a seasoned vet. You know the rules. That's on you. That loss is all on you. I know sports is a team effort. There's no I in team, but as Kobe says, there's a me in team. And that loss is all on Taylor Decker. All he had to do is just tell the referee that he was reported eligible. That's all he had to do. It would have took 3 seconds. But no, he didn't. The Lions
onside kick, by the way, was not successful. Not that really.
But go back into the first half and the middle of the second quarter, when the Lions went for it in the red zone on 4th down, where would have been the biggest difference maker, which I said was the biggest difference maker. That I'm not going for the field goal, and if they went for the field goal and they got it, they would have won the game.
Unbelievable. What a game, though. How about that, Nicholas? I know you didn't have to stay up late for this one like we did, but how did we feel after that?
Oh, I love it.
Also,
I mean,
apparently someone called a timeout or someone doing an onside kick again, so something crazy might happen. But go ahead, Nicholas.
Oh, I love it. I mean, I agreed with what Justin said. On the road, you go to win the game. You're not going for the tie. You're not going to overtime. So I love trying to go for 2. Unfortunately, it didn't work. But you know what? I stood by Dallas winning this game the entire time because it is the regular season at home for them, and they pulled it out.
CeeDee Lamb, fittingly, is the one that grabs the onside kick. Dallas O'Neal the ball and end the game. John Gross, saw you relaxing a little bit. How did you relax through that crazy end of the game?
Listen, I was sitting back, and it's rare for me to be able to actually watch a game at a Saturday night, so I'm just enjoying this. I'm having a fun time. But I've never seen anything quite like that before. What was 3 plays, and they finally are unable to get the 2-point conversion. So an epic game, and as I think Sam said in the pregame show, could be a preview of what's to come in the playoffs.
It's funny.
And that's
Aaron,
for you. Oh,
go ahead.
and that's
Sam.
for you. We got ourselves a great playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun because
I want this matchup in the playoffs. I think this would be really fun.
Yes, let's do it again.
Yeah, it'd be a blast. And I mean, if the second round goes the way, it would have to be interesting if that would happen. But we'll see what happens.
And I just want to add, I'm definitely behind you guys, but they just showed a replay of Decker talking to the ref, and I'm sure that he said, what else is he going to say besides I'm reporting as eligible? So that was a complete failure by the officials, and this should be a Detroit win, honestly.
Well, and then Brad Allen, right after that, Brad Allen went to go talk to the Cowboys defense. So, right. and number 70, I didn't catch his name, but he was the on-field guy that was livid after that too, took off his helmet and was screaming. He was right there behind him when he said it. And I'm with you, John. That's certainly
if that's the case, I don't even know what you can do because that's really bad. That literally cost them the game.
Yes.
The referee cost them the game. I mean, there's nothing the NFL can do about it, I guess, but that's just that's something the NFL maybe should do something about it. Aaron, what are you feeling about this game?
I'm upset because I was very excited that
we all were. I mean, I just got to call an offensive lineman catching a touchdown to win or 2-point conversion to catch a game, and then that happens.
You could see in the chat, I'm like, oh my goodness. And then I'm like, never mind. It's very disappointing, but what can you do? I think it's just it's definitely on the officials.
I mean, I was about to say before Justin and John brought up their point, because I saw it on my TV too, but I couldn't tell exactly what's going on because I had it muted. The Lions found, even how good they are, the Lions found a new way to lion, but I guess the refs decided to turn up and be the Lions tonight.
They did.
The refs cost the Lions the game.
Yep.
The funny thing about it is that Brad Allen is known as one of the better referees in the NFL. He routinely does playoff games. Might have even done a Super Bowl or 2 before. He's a native of North Carolina. I used to live where I used to work, but he's known as a really good referee, but had a costly blunder that literally cost the Lions the game.
I don't understand though who calls he wasn't reported eligible if he literally came and talked to you. Like, did he have like a moment of short-term memory loss?
He must have.
Honestly, like you literally stood in front of the guy and he talked. Maybe because there was 2 at the same time, he thought one wasn't him.
Yeah, that could be. I guess that puts them at both 11-5. That is, I mean, it's a bad call no matter what.
It's bad. I mean, it's terrible for the Lions because now they may have to go to Philadelphia in the second round.
Yeah,
and that would be an easy win for the Eagles.
Again, nothing's an easy win for the Eagles. They haven't had an easy win all year, Sam. They barely beat every team that they've beaten this year.
Worst 11-4 team in the NFL.
Yeah.
This is why I wish that the officiating crew, or at least the crew chief, has to sit through. They don't have to do a press conference, right? In the NBA, 100%. I believe they have to. Do they? I don't think they have to do that in the NFL, right?
I don't think they do in the NBA because they released they used to. I think they got rid of the last 2-minute reports in the NBA too, because they kept saying all these calls that were missed in the last 2 minutes, and they're like, yeah, it's probably not good for publicity.
Sam, you got a point.
The NFL should also make the referees have a mic and be mic'd up the whole game.
Yep.
Yeah,
agreed.
No, there's no way that I don't understand how they missed that call after seeing that replay because I did see the replay you guys were talking about. I don't understand how you forget that you talked to a guy 20 seconds before it happens.
And Justin, it was you who brought up the NFL referee press conference. I think it would be a great idea because all the time we see in media, the game was lost to the refs, blah blah blah, XYZ. They could just ask them themselves because some of the calls I actually agree with the refs.
Yeah. So real quick to Nicholas, because I haven't heard his opinion on this. I mean, obviously the Detroit Lions could have done some other things like we talked about, like Sam said, not going for it in the red zone the one time. They had other opportunities to win this game, so much momentum. But if you're what is the commissioner going to say tomorrow when he realizes what just happened?
Well, we know he's not going to say anything. He doesn't care. As long as people are watching these games and making money, they don't actually care. But,
all right, Sam Prince. So he's your best friend. So I'll let you talk about him in a second. But go ahead, Nicholas.
But no, I do think there should be way more accountability for these referees in general, whatever it may be. I hate how they just kind of get to hide behind the cameras a lot of the times and never have to explain themselves. And Roger Goodell never holds them accountable. There's never any fines. There's never any suspensions. But when like the smallest hit on a quarterback happens, the defender gets fined $20,000 or gets suspended 2 games or whatever. Like, it's ridiculous. And it's an issue across all sports. It's not an NFL thing, but I think it is the worst in the NFL.
So Sam, since he is your best friend, Roger Goodell, how if you were Roger Goodell tomorrow, what are you saying to the public? Because I don't know what I would
Roger Goodell, I would have a meeting with my owners at the end of the season and the off-season meetings in Arizona come this March. And I would say, hey guys, what do you guys think of this new rule change of having the refs have a press conference before and after the game and having them mic'd up? Because our fans and people from our teams think some games are lost to the referees, and we can't have that type of bad publicity for our league because that publicity is not good.
How about ESPN actually showing that replay? Like, if that replay doesn't get showed, everybody thinks the Lions lioned. But, I mean, obviously, it probably would have came out with social media and everything. But that is ESPN actually doing their job and showing, like, oh, listen, the refs blew this. Like, this is going to be – I mean, there's been other things in refereeing and umpiring in history, but this is one of the biggest. I mean, this affects the Detroit Lions having a second-round home game in the playoffs.
Yeah, and Zeke, you being an Eagles fan, a lot of people were mad about the call on Bradbury, the holding on Juju Smith-Schuster.
That was terrible. It wasn't not even close to this bad. that was really bad.
That was bigger, more magnitude, but I mean,
yeah, I mean that was because we don't need to discuss this. It was a holding call, but they hadn't called anything on the defense all game long, so there's no reason that should have been called. But that obviously magnitude Super Bowl, but this is obviously much worse because this is just a mental mistake that I don't understand.
I mean, did you just forget that you talked to Taylor?
I have no idea. But anyways, Aaron, thank you so much for coming on tonight and doing the reports. How was your first experience? I'm just going to go around real quick and thank everybody. If anybody else had any points about the game, feel free to. But like we said, for us normal people that aren't on the normal part of the country, not Justin and Nicholas, it's almost midnight, or 11:30. So thank you, Aaron. We'll go to you first. How was the first experience of being on here for a staff broadcast? We just want to thank you so much for agreeing to do this. And how was it for you?
Of course, it was so much fun. I would definitely do it again. It was cool actually meeting like other counselors that I have, from different parts of the United States. So it was a lot of fun and would love to do it again another time.
John Gross, I know you, out of all of us, you have the most real world experience in this field. Thank you so much for jumping on here with us, amateurs and students. Obviously, Sam Prince has a lot of experience too, announcing NFL draft picks and being on Rowan Radio and all that stuff he does in South Jersey. But obviously, you have the most real world experience. Thank you for coming on.
Of course, I appreciate the offer. This was a blast, and you all did a fantastic job. I loved working with you all, and I hope that we can work together again soon.
Sounds good. One day, I just want to be on John Gross's level when it comes to play-by-play again.
See, come on. I just want to get on your level.
I have a lot of rust I got to knock off. Nicholas, thank you for coming on, bud. You were fantastic. You know way too much about sports, as most of our campers do, so we appreciate your knowledge.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It was fun coming on. I totally do this again with this same group or with other people. It doesn't really matter. But like Aaron said, it was nice meeting people from other parts of the country. It actually reminds me a lot of virtual camp where you did meet other people from parts of the country that wouldn't have taken place if not for COVID. Not saying COVID was good. I'm just saying that wouldn't have happened if not for virtual camp.
Joe Torty with one more response. Aaron equals Himmer for debt. Thank you, Joe Torty, for watching all night long. You were obviously our most loyal viewer this evening. We appreciate it. Justin, I know we came up with this idea a couple weeks ago when I said we should do the Seattle Eagles game since you're a Seattle fan, mostly Oregon sports and Oregon Ducks, but obviously Seattle when it comes to the NFL, and I'm an Eagles fan. But thank you so much for joining in. It was an absolute blast to have you.
No, loved it, and same sentiment that everyone else shared. Really appreciate meeting everybody, and if we'll be looking for counselors for Seattle, so keep Zeke, Neil, and I in mind as we.
We'll just fly out. We'll fly out Aaron and John and Sam and Nicholas, no problem.
Yeah, just
Hey, I've never been to Seattle and I want to go.
Oh, their campus is amazing at UW. I know Justin's not rooting for UW to win a national championship.
Go hook 'em horns, baby.
But I want to go back to the national championship campus this year. Well, thank you everybody who watched on Instagram. I have no idea how many people we had watch on Instagram because we don't actually get those viewers on here. It only records the YouTube viewers and comments. Thank you for those who watched on YouTube, especially Joe Torty for sticking with us the whole entire time. We appreciate it. My cousin, who's a Lions fan. We will definitely be doing this again, but more importantly, we'll have some of the students on here from the play-by-play camps and Student Sports Network. And we will see you next time. We're just going to play one more time. We'll play the ad for the camp. And we'll see you next time. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We hope you enjoyed. And we'll see you next time.
Breaking news, the 2024 Sports Broadcasting Camp schedule has arrived. Jeremy, you want to break it down for us?
I would be very happy to, Steve. June 3 to 7, we're going to be in Dallas. The 10th to the 14th, we're in Boca. 17th to the 21st, it's Villanova time. Did you miss Charles Barkley last year? We didn't. He was awesome. 24th to the 28th is Baltimore and Denver. Zeke, take us to July.
July 1st through 5th, we start off virtually, as well as our 3-day workshop we're super excited for. The 8th through the 12th, New Jersey and Chicago are coming your way. 15th through the 19th, Atlanta and Neil Hartman in D.C. And the 22nd to 26th. I'm excited to head back to Boston.
How about Rugburn Ball in Boston and Zeke?
Rugburn Ball. Say it again, Jeremy.
Rugburn Ball. Steve, what's going on in August?
All right, the end of July into August, we have Seattle, again with Neil Hartman. August 5th to the 9th, we are at UCLA in lovely Los Angeles. Then we close the show August 11th to 16th at one of my favorites, Camp Green Lane. So, guys, does anything stick out to you in the schedule?
Well, Steve, first of all, I want to say I can't wait to play Gaga with you guys again at Green Lane. But FAU, we're going overnight this year for the first time in years, which is going to be really exciting. So we want you guys to sign up, check out the website, check out the schedule. We're going to see you this summer.